Hey everybody, welcome back to another.
It's just the two of us.
Naturally, there's a lot of new things going on right now.
Yeah, there are. Also, it's been a really long time for us.
It has.
It hasn't been for you guys.
You're right. It's been a month.
Wow.
That's weird as heck. Yeah, it's been a whole month of us not recording.
Yeah, we were in Japan.
Yeah. Little vacay action.
Vacay.
We saw the sights, and we ate the food and
spoke the language.
Speak French with the French. Vive la vie. We did that, and then we came back, and then there was holiday festivities.
I came on her back. I don't know. Every time I hear.
I don't know. We returned to the greatest country in the world, America. The face you were making while you laughed that laugh was a pain expression. And we both are just like,
well, one's a little bit more sick than the other.
I'm just a little
bit.
But
okay.
Sick.
The past, 6 episodes, we've been sick.
Yeah, we've been sick for every single one of them. Some about, maybe this is the cause, we use, 100% of our brain when we're making this podcast. So we have both discussed, not only do we have to eat before we do the podcast, or else, 2 hours in, we're like, they die. I don't know. I don't have an imagination. A, or B, yeah, so I don't A's and B's. We need to eat first, and then many hours afterwards, when we finish, we're like, oh, all right, jeez.
We're physically exhausted.
Yeah, because you're using 100% of our brain.
Yeah. I feel like it's partially because we're playing so many characters at once.
Probably. Little brain workout action, but so it exhausts us, and so then we're weak in the immune system.
This is such first world. It's so exhausting. It's so exhausting
doing talking
this
to
thing
a
that
microphone.
We love doing.
It brings us joy. It also brings us exhaustion. We wouldn't last a day anywhere.
I was feeling better. I was confident going into this. I was like, oh man, I'm finally going to have a clear throat. My voices are going to sound like the voices. Because freaking Yezi and Ethiod are hard to do when you've got crap going on in your throat. Because they got a lot of throat action going on with their sound.
You should see it. When she's doing their voices, that thing is doing wild stuff.
It's hard to do their voices.
Pulsating and gyrating in the throat.
And I was like, oh, finally, I don't feel this way. And then the moment we sit down to record and I start talking, I'm like, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah,
this has all been a lie.
It works to my advantage that Lucian is sick, not sick, but injured, so he can be appropriately goofy sounding. And Fingers is stressed out, so.
Yeah, well, Fingers just sounds like you, but just ever so slightly different.
Ever so slightly, yeah. A little bit more something. I don't know what.
I don't know. I really don't know what it is, because you don't have to be and then Fingers says, I immediately know that.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, it's a little bit of uncertainty.
Yeah.
To it.
I feel like also your voice gets a little bit deeper. And just slightly, just you're speaking more with just heaviness.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it kind of depends on what what the conversation, because sometimes I feel like it gets higher than my voice would normally sound. And then if he's talking about love, yeah, maybe it'd be a bit lower. It was funny when you were saying that as Yezi just now. I could feel my brain splitting in half, because I was talking like Fingers, but thinking like Monica is I could do that as Lucian, talk about the way I talk as him in this is my Monica's brain, but I can't do that with Fingers, because then I just start talking in my own voice, and so it's just I don't know, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
She knows, she gets me.
Yeah, I get you.
She gets me.
Hey, you're cute.
Stop that. 可愛いって言うな.
Well, recap time.
You're gonna have to. You got it.
All right. Well, it was a lot of talking about their plans of what they were going to do when they leave in the morning. They decided that they were going to be a traveling play, like theater group, minstrel.
Good. I love that so much. Like, what are you talking about? Anyway, yeah.
They're called the Crimson Page, and they all got fake names, and they all got a part in the play, and Thalen's going to be the narrator. They also decided that they were going to use Pass Without a Trace to get out of town, mostly because it takes about, I think Thalen said 45 minutes to get out of town, and the Pass Without a Trace lasts for an hour. And they did it for everyone except for Thalen. And we kind of rule of cooled or homebrewed ruled or whatever that Pass Without a Trace can only work up to 4 people because it doesn't specify. So we were like, well, an indefinite amount of people being able to pass without a trace is not realistic. So we're going to go with a 4 total. So Thalen doesn't have it, but he doesn't necessarily need it. And Lucian also made a map. There was 2 different ways that you could go to get to the palace. One was through Wethway territory. It was faster, but, less safe considering it is through Wethway territory. And the other one is through the mountains on the Talenthe side. It is slower, but it is safer.
Yeah, I will say, if I recall this correctly, I might have just fabricated this in my brain. I think on the podcast I accidentally had him say Talenthe twice.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so maybe it was evident to the world that obviously he means faster, but on Wethway territory. But I just wanted to friggin' say that.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And so they told Lucian that they would go the slower route if they could. If they couldn't, they had another, option. And they left and they encountered a thief really not that far into them leaving. They were seeing a lot of thieves kind of gathering about rooftops, and they knew that probably they were watching the orphanage since people are on the lookout for fingers. And one decided to question Thalen about him leaving the orphanage. And then we cut to my boy Viray and talking to a Eladrin named Monsterl, and 2 high elves named Malwyn and Egwin.
Mm-hmm.
All right. About this underground bunker that they had full of water clary. They enlisted him for his help after some terse conversations, some threats being thrown around, and then the mention of Viray's close friend, Farneil. And Viray then left, heading out to find out information about his parents growing water clary, which he was not aware of, and decided to try and contact Farneil through a sending spell, and heard a message back from Farneil about finding Malwyn and that the king is crazy. So Viray booked it back to the bunker to try and find out some more information. And then we cut to a couple of lads, Ethiod and Lucian, who bonded over some conversations about love and allergies and favorites, favorite colors, favorite books. And then Ethiod had a interesting experience thinking that he saw somebody familiar to him, and then concluding that he must not have after some investigation. And we ended with Lucian reading Ethiod a story to calm him down.
Mm-hmm.
That was sweet.
How sweet. Did you see that coming?
No.
The moment that you were just like, she wasn't real, my brain was like, Lucian's gonna read you a story. Just you wait. Alright, cool. So, you're caught up. Time to poof back into the friggin' whatever you need, sip of tea. That's you falling
into the world.
An inch into the world. So, you're walking through the woods.
Mm-hmm.
It's the middle of the day. It's a little nippy outside, but probably just for you.
Mm-hmm.
Something that you'd be a little bit more, it would maybe not be so cold to somebody else. And you can see around you just trees forever. And you can hear in the distance the sounds of conflict relatively far from you. And you're making your way towards it, and you can hear extremely loudly the sound of your own feet crushing leaves and detritus and things of that nature underfoot as you try your best to be inconspicuous, which is relatively hard for you. You can feel on your body, it doesn't fit you super well, like it wasn't made for you, someone shaped like you. Your uniform and your armor, and you can feel heavy on your hip, your medical bag with everything that you might need in it to assist with whatever it is that's currently going on, and you're stretching out in front of you is just trees and leaves. It's relatively hilly where you are, and you know that because you're there and you can see it, but you remember the words of your commanding officer as he had rallied the troops before this movement, the briefing, letting you know that in positions and places you're supposed to go and things of that nature. Things seem to have gone a little bit sideways unexpectedly, so... And the sound of his words kind of rings in your ear, of his warning. Our objective is the watchtower on the hill to the north. We've been cleaning house so far, lads, but don't get lax. The enemy is devious and cunning. Can't let him catch us unawares. Seems that you have been caught somewhat unawares. Yeah, and you are all by yourself as far as you know. No friendlies around you. You are... separated, and so what's your game plan? What are you thinking about right now?
Well, I think that she's trying to find some kind of familiar, like, landmark or something, like something that she recognizes to get back to where she knows they, like, originated. Because she's alone, and she's supposed to know. She's alone, and she's supposed to not be. She's the one person that maybe doesn't want to be alone. She wants to be around the folks who are hurting. And she hears the conflict, so she knows there must be some fighting in that direction. So there must be some of her, folks over there. So I think that she's kind of making her way towards the conflict, but trying to, like, visually download the area the best that she can. Like, being like, okay, there's a boulder there that has, moss on the top of it that looks a bit interesting. Now I know if I come over here again, I've been over here.
Mm-hmm. So as you are kind of doing that, I realize that you need something.
Do I?
You do.
Oh, is this her?
Don't worry about it. Anyway.
Wait, is this her now?
In where we're at right now, yeah.
All right.
You are trying to make your way back to from whence you came, reconnect with the crew, and you're trying to, identifying landmarks, know that if you came past this way, you can recognize that big tree, and so you already were here. And you have a map that you don't have a physical map on you, but you were definitely shown a map. And you have, let me see, go ahead and roll, what do you think, like survival or something to see how well you would have downloaded that.
7.
All right, you're a little horsel, you're a little frazzled. So you remember there were hills in the map. Heck yeah, there were hecka hills, and there was definitely, I mean, on one of them was a watchtower. That's for sure.
Well,
that's one of the things that you know. But there sure are a lot of trees, and they sure are very similar to each other. And so you're kind of like doing that thing. You can hear like the sounds of conflict in the distance. Every once in a while you hear a yell, but too nondescript to be able to be like the friend or foe or anything like that. And go ahead and, what's your passive perception?
15.
As you're kind of walking in that direction, in just any direction, trying to find out like where you are, you hear, kind of like, you're not sure, like something in the distance, like the sound of crackling ground, leaves, sticks, and stuff like that.
Like in front of me or behind me?
It's kind of lateral to you, to your east.
I think that she will start stealthing, because if she hears that, she's like, somebody must be close, because I'm not going to hear, people stepping in leaves if they ain't that close. So I think that she's kind of like ducking behind trees and all that, still trying to make her way towards where she thinks that folks may be, but trying to preserve herself until she knows who this person is.
Are you going in that direction or looking in that direction, or are you just kind of hiding?
I think that she's making her way towards the sound of conflict, so she's still like main objective trying to find her people, but she does acknowledge that, so she's trying to do it now with like like she's like a prey animal, like she's like, I know something's out here. Yeah,
so you hear kind of general conflict sounds to the north, and you're kind of just looking east as you move in that direction. So you kind of look over your shoulder, and as you take a peek over your shoulder, you hear the like crack sounds again. Good, roll a well, I guess you're looking in that direction. You already perceived that maybe there's something going on, so go ahead, roll an insight check.
All right. Nat 1.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. So as you look over in that direction, you're just kind of like, you're trying to just clock what it is that's making that noise. You look over your shoulder, and all of a sudden you see some sort of horrible beast. Some sort of, you can't clock what it is. But when you turn your head, you see it is huge and towering, and it has gigantic kind of spindly arms, like raised up in the air.
What the fuck?
Raised up in the air, and it's kind of mixing with the dappled sunlight coming through the trees, and like the complex like bark texture, and but you can see it, and you see only this amorphous shape and then 2 tiny beady black eyes staring at you.
What the fuck? Okay. Everson sees that, she's booking it.
What direction? Are you running directly away from it? Are you running north?
Yeah.
Okay. So the moment you see it, do you freeze or do you just cut and run?
I think that the moment she sees it, she has a second of hesitation of like, this can't be real. I must be tired or something. And like, the fact that it doesn't disappear when she like blinks her eyes, she's like, all right. Okay. Just books
so
it.
You freeze to like let it kind of crystallize in your mind. And as you kind of see, you get a better look at it and it crystallizes in your mind. You realize that it must have just been the way that you turned your head. There's a deer staring at you. It is a large deer, like a buck, I forget the guy one, with some big old antlers, and it just is kind of in the same way that you were staring at it, it's staring directly back at you. And then you hear, what's your armor class?
Oh, shit. God damn it. 15.
Cool. So, you hear that noise.
Oh, no.
And it's sound that you've heard 1 or 2 other times in your life, and then all of a sudden you hear next to you. Oh!
She whips her head to look at who's screaming.
And as you turn your head, you see to your side a high elf Weftway soldier kind of crumple to the ground with an arrow sticking out of his back.
Okay. And do I see anyone, like, of who might have shot it? Anyone
Roll
near me?
an insight check to see if you can tell from whence the arrow hath come.
Okay. Nat 20.
Wow. Okay, cool. So you triangulate based on like impact, like where that would have made the most sense to come from. And you turn your head in that direction. And just as you turn your head to try and like make sense of what you've seen, you see barreling towards you the person who must have shot the arrow. It is someone in the Talenthi clan military armor.
Okay.
Running towards you. He's flanked by 2 other Talenthi soldiers.
Okay. I think that Everson just kind of sees them. She's like, where are we supposed to be? I don't know where we are right now.
Good roll initiative.
Oh, what the fuck? Another nat 20.
Really? Dang, bro.
I've been... I just want to let everyone know I use 4 different dice and I cycle through them. So they're like, the chances of me having 4 dice that are in my favor are low.
I got a nat 20 also. What is happening?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's, that one now is based off of who has the higher initiative. I have a -1.
You have a -1?
Yeah, -1 off of my initiative. Oh, also, we're using an old, not Iffy's current character sheet in the world that you know and love her from. This is baby Iffy character sheet.
Cool. So, as you are, you turn, you scream, you say whatever you say to them. I'll let you say that on your turn if you want to do that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, if I get attacked first, she's not gonna say that. She's gonna be like, "What the fuck's going on?" You know?
Yeah. So I'll let you, whatever you want to say, I'll let you say on your turn. So as you are doing that, you can see, just so we can deal with what's going on. You got three friendlies running towards you, and then you have to your left side a Weftway soldier who is on his feet. I think I said he crumbles to his knees. He doesn't crumble to his knees. He's on his feet. He's just got an arrow sticking out of his shoulder.
Oh, okay.
So he's still up and up, as it were. He's just feeling it, not feeling so hot at the moment.
I see.
The friendlies are running towards you. You are about 60 feet away from their position, and they are going to go first.
All right.
They're all going to take the dash action to make it to your position and like get around you. So you see them like running up towards you, and they realize one of them like the arrow to the other guy. You hear him kind of laugh a little bit, just like chuckle, like in glee as he has hit the other guy as they're running towards you. And you see them look at you and kind of put their heads down and like monkey mode, just start like booking it in your direction. And as they get closer, you hear, what are they? She's a medic. Like they're, like they clock that as they're running towards you. And that's like all that they're doing.
Okay.
And so that's going to be their turn when they get there. They're just like kind of standing around you. And, so that's going to be their turn.
Okay.
And your turn is now.
Cool. So you said that the high elf is still on his feet.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. She's gonna take her mace and just like whip around and try and hit the guy down. So she's gonna roll to hit. Now she gets a friggin' 6. This doesn't hit.
So yeah, you turn around to hit him, and you're too freaking, knocked off kilter by the whole situation.
She's gonna do that, and she's gonna realize that she freaking misses and go, well, shit, and like turn and book it towards the other people coming towards her, like to get closer to them.
Oh, okay, so like as they kind of reach your position, you turn, swing, try and throw this mace, like hit, and it whiffs the like guy looks up at like the last second and is able to kind of back up, but you're kind of using that motion to gain momentum to run back, behind the guys, and as they run towards you, you hear one of them say, "Oh, it's the redhead from earlier."
What does that mean?
And as they're like running, they're like come to kind of absorb you.
Yeah.
You hear the other one that you hear his voice. You presume he's the one who chuckled earlier, say, "Oh, the one that you said was cute."
Whoa.
And you hear him get shoved and just go, "Ow!" And you like run behind them. They kind of stand in front of you. And is that your turn?
Yeah.
Are you gonna do anything else? So as you kind of run behind them, you see the guy who has the arrow to the shoulder. He like gets his wits about him, kind of takes like a offensive stance, and say, "You're all speaking in Elvish, just for the record," and say, "I didn't realize she was a medic." And he's going to. They're not. Technically, they would be in 5 feet, so he would get an attack of opportunity.
Yeah, he should have gotten an attack of opportunity on me, because if I was in hitting range.
That's true. I'll say that he didn't have his wits about him yet, because he wasn't expecting to get hit, just for the sake of not retconning whatever. But he is going to disengage.
Okay.
And he is going to run. He kind of like takes his hand, he like puts it on his shoulder. You can see everybody's got a helmet on. You can see he's kind of like... The 3 guys who are rolling up on you are like, small, medium, large, kind of like in their build, in both height and width. Yeah. Also, this guy is pretty tall, but like slight, and he's gonna kind of like dip his shoulder down and just start running. He disengages, and he takes 30 feet of movement away, and he's running back in the direction of the. Away from you, basically, because you don't know where he came from.
Yeah.
So he's running back into the forest, and that's going to be his turn. And as he runs away, our 3 friends are gonna roll something. Okay, cool. So as you kind of run behind them, the big one in the middle that was kind of leading, these are the friendlies, the big one in the middle that was kind of leading the charge towards you says, "Not so fast," and he is gonna give chase 30 feet, and he runs up behind the soldier who was running away, and he is going to hit him. And as he gets in range, so the soldier runs 30 feet away. He is going to close the distance 30 feet. And as he approaches and he raises his sword to like slash him across the back, something happens. Something might happen. So, you see him, he kind of like dips his head down, and as he runs past you, you can kind of get like a glimpse of the way that he looks. And he, even under his helmet, you can tell that he is a summer Eldrin. He's the like bigger build one, and he's got kind of like light orangish skin. Most any other defining feature would be pretty much covered up, and he's like freckly as all get out. So he's you feel at home somewhat. And he dips his shoulder, runs up behind the high elf soldier that was running away, and raises his sword high up. He's gonna slash him across the back, and all of a sudden you hear and he triggered 2 reactions.
Oh no.
And one of them is a nat 20.
No.
So we'll see what happens. So that's gonna be 1d8. Oh, this poor guy. Oh, no. You don't have that many hit points. Okay, 1d8 plus 4. That is a 3. So a 7 plus 4. So 7. 7 plus 10 plus...
Oh.
Is it a 1? 5. 7 plus 10. 7 plus 15 is 22. So...
Good lord.
Cool. So, as the guy runs away, the friendly soldier raises his bow up. You hear, and he gets an arrow, 2 arrows directly in the front of his chest. One in the upper part and one in the lower part. And you see him, they stop his forward momentum. Like, they're so intensely powerful.
Yeah.
That as he gets hit, he kind of like gets shunted backwards slightly. And you hear the Weftway soldier shout, "Be careful!" He's like running like continuously back the way that he came. And you hear the other 2 soldiers that were with you both say, "Flavian!" And they start running also in that direction. And you hear, presumably, Flavian. He turns around. I don't think that technically counts as movement because he's stationary. He turns in his spot and he goes, "Go back the other way!" like as he like has one hand on his chest and stuff. And they're like, they kind of like move towards him to help and then kind of stop in their tracks. And they're not really moving forward at all. So they make it like 10 feet.
Okay.
And they're going to both search. So they're going to make a perception check.
All right.
To see if they can see where the dudes are at. Cool. So you kind of hear, like, from your position, they kind of stand and they're looking at Flavin, and they're looking around and behind him, and you hear one of them go, "There!" and like stick out an arm and start pointing off in the direction of one of the trees.
Okay.
Sort of like out and up.
Okay. Is that the end of their turn?
Yes.
All right. I think Iffy's going to say, "Listen to him, I can only help so many people at once." And then she's going to run to Flavian. Since he's a friendly, can I know his total hit point?
Yeah. His hit point max, I'll give you even 2, is 44. He has 22 hit points.
Okay. She is going to, she's going to cast Cure Wounds for an action. So I think she runs up to him, and she, like, as she's doing that, she's, like, rifling through her, like, medic pack for what she's looking for, and pulls out a potion and, like, pushes it to his chest to, you know, be like, "Take this." And so he's going to get 1d8 plus 3 back. He gets 9 hit points back. All right, and then as a bonus action, she's also going to healing word him. So they're going to get 1d4 plus 3. He's going to get 4 hit points back.
Okay, so you do all these things. You take the potion out, you know, whatever. And as you're doing that, he yanks one of the arrows.
No! I think that she's going to, like, stick her hand out. And just be like, "Keep him in!"
He's going to grab your hand and say, "What are you doing, little girl? You want to die too? Turn and run!" And he's going to kind of, like, make like that's what he is presumably going to do in his next turn. Kind of like shoulder checks you. Do you have anything you want to say back?
I think that she's just like, "I'm doing my job," and like grabs onto his like arm that's trying to pull out an arrow and like rip his arm away so he can't do it and pull it so that she could be like, "Yeah, we can run if you can."
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So, any other thing you want to do?
No.
Okay, cool. So,
well, how far away was I from him? 30 feet away?
You were 30 feet away.
Okay, so then I had to use my full movement. So yeah.
Yeah, because he ran 30 feet away from you. So you guys are both turned back in the direction of going back towards the friendlies. And as you turn to run, you hear one more time. So you hear the first arrow go past, like whistle past you. And it hits a tree that's like directly in front of you guys so hard that bark explodes off of it. And then all of a sudden you hear next to you, "Ugh!" And your man gets hit with another arrow. Another...
Aren't you glad I fucking gave you hit points?
1d8 plus... I just did this. 1d8 plus 4 piercing damage. So 1. Look at that.
Yeah.
So, plus so minus 5. And so that one kind of gets him in like the right arm. And actually, I'm gonna see if he can hold on to his short sword. How much fun for this guy. What are we calling that? We'll do like a constitution. Okay, cool. So he fully holds on to it. Like he like grits his teeth as the arrow like pierces deep into his arm and like forces his fingers apart. He like takes a deep breath in through his nose and just forces his like fingers to close around the hilt of the sword. The other one whistles past you. You don't do anything else, and you hear still in the distance the original guy running away. So running still in the direction of presumably where the arrows are coming.
I think that when the first arrow whistles past like their heads, I think Iffy kind of like her eyes kind of open with surprise and she starts laughing. Like she's just like like that was close, like, you know, being all, I think like she's like so built up with nervous energy, and then it immediately stops when he gets one in the arm. And she's just like, it's just like a immediate cut off, like somebody cut off a recording or something, and she's like, her eyes like whips to the arrow in his arm.
So when you start laughing, you hear in the distance, "Oh, she's crazy too." Flav, you love crazy girls. And then he gets an arrow in his arm, and all of the funny stops all of a sudden. Cool. So that's the end of their turn, and now it's back to the boys. So Flavian, who is the one that you have the most relationship with right now, is just running away.
Okay.
And at first, you know, he's trying to do it quietly. There's other soldiers in the area. He doesn't want to alert them. But now he's just like, fully unbothered by that. And you hear a voice from the direction you guys are running and go, "Will you shut up, Flavian?" Just like a little voice. And you can look up and you kind of see it's the smallest of the three. And he's kind of doing one of those, like, take a look over my shoulder and still keep running away type thing. Like, he's like, is everybody following me? Okay. And is like looking over his shoulder. And then
so is Flavian doing like a dash action where he's moving double his speed, or is he just doing like his normal movement?
He's dashing.
Okay.
So he's like got his head down, he's booking it away from the direction. And then you hear the medium one kind of go, "Well, don't look down, they're following us," and knock an arrow, and he is going to try and hit one of them, and he is going to hit. Ooh, he hits for 9. That's pretty good. And the arrow kind of whistles in between you and Flavian, just like it's like above. It's like above you, but between you, so it's kind of like intimately in your zone, and just like right in that spot. And you hear it make contact with a cacophonous like from the echoing like from
I think
the
that
distance.
makes Iffy start laughing again.
When you start laughing, Flavian hears you and looks over his shoulder, and you kind of catch his like crazy eyes in your crazy eyes. And you hear in the distance the one who shot the arrow go, "Yes!" So so dash action, one of them shooting the arrow, the other one is sort of just non-committally moving in that direction, and then the one that shot the arrow said, "Well, they're coming after us," and he started running also. He just did his normal movement though, so he's 30 feet away. And
but they're now a total of 90 feet away from me because I haven't run yet. Is that correct?
Flavian is 60 feet away from you.
And then the other two are 90 feet away.
The other two are, the smallest one is 90 plus 30, 120, because he moved his full movement. And the middle one is actually moving towards in the opposite direction.
Oh, okay.
So he's like 75 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And the Flavian looks over his shoulder, looks at you as you kind of chuckle with crazy eyes, and you can tell that he's trying to communicate to you that you need to freaking run.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's gonna end their turn. Now it's your turn.
Cool. If he's gonna run,
Okay, cool.
she's
deal.
gonna do dash action and catch up with Flavian, and then she's gonna do another bonus action, healing word on him, as she runs up and catches up with him. 6.
Cool.
So I think that as she's running, she's just like, here you go. Like, just like, I feel like with the combat potions that she has, you don't have to drink them. I feel like you like just have to pour them on the wound. And so I think that as she's running, she's like gripping her chest because she's like trying to breathe and laugh at the same time. And like uncorks it and just like splashes it at him.
And cool. So as you do that, and you can see the like goldeny color kind of sink into his arm, and as it like soaks into his arm, the arrow falls out. And you can see the skin kind of like knitting back together, and he's like looking at you, super confused, like about your reaction. And as you do that, he is going to like. He's going to reach behind you and kind of grab the back of your shirt and, like, push you forward. And he says, less laughing, more running. He's just, like, pushing you away. And he's pushing you away. And you hear in the distance the middle-sized one, like, chuckling also. Like, laughing with you.
Yeah.
And, cool. Any other stuff you're going to do?
Don't think so.
Okay, cool. So as you're running that way, you hear 2 more arrows.
Good lord.
That are making their way towards y'all. The first one hits Flavian.
Poor Flavian.
Yeah, no, he's getting worked. Another one hits him for 5. And this one kind of gets him in like the like calf, like lower leg, and you hear him go, pissing hell. It's just like, they're short, these bastards have. And he's just like, like kind of shunts himself forward, and you can feel like his grip kind of like get weird on the back of your shirt. And he starts kind of also laughing. You kind of like see him like grimacing and like laughing through the pain. And his run gets a little more, lopsided as he like tries to keep up with you. And then he's kind of like chuckling also. And you guys both hear as it goes past you, and he shuts his eyes and squeezes his like teeth together and braces for impact. And it's gonna do 12 damage to you.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
It was a
That's
nat
half
20.
my hit points, so I have 12 hit points left.
It was a nat 20.
I think Iffy's laughing, and then she gets hit, and she's just like, ah, good lord, all right.
Yeah, so you're running, you get hit, and we'll say that you get hit like directly in the middle of your back. And as you're doing that, you see Flavian kind of braces for impact, and then hears the explosion of it connecting with your body, and he looks over, and you see him like look at you with kind of fear and surprise. You feel your whole body get pushed forward by the force of the arrow, and you can feel kind of the arm in the back of your jacket you kind of felt was kind of so he was connected to somebody else, you know, like kind of dragging him forward, and now he is dragging you like forward, and he kind of tries to position himself behind you, like just kind of like pushing you forward, and and as that's going on, you hear him go, Major, little help, little cover, please, and that's gonna be the end of their turn.
Okay.
And it's back to being the boys' turn. You look up, you like eyes squeeze shut, you feel the pain of the impact, and you look up and you see presumably Maja, who's the one who is firing arrows, doing anything. You look up and you see that he has the bow behind his back, and he has it like but it's like an arrow is knocked. I think that's knocked. Notched.
Yeah, notched.
I'm fully looking it up. You knock it. So he has an arrow knocked. So and the bowstring is fully pulled back. It's just behind his back. And you hear Flavian go, "Stop playing around!" And you hear Major, who you weren't necessarily looking at the first time, but hopefully he wasn't doing that the first time. He goes, "I shoot better this way."
Iffy's is cracking. She's like laughing, but then it hurts, so she's just like,
is gonna shoot the arrow. We'll see if he does shoot better this way. He does not. So you see him go, "I shoot better this way," as he, like, the arrow is knocked in the string, you know, like where the fletching is, the little thing goes into the string. You can see him, like, it kind of comes out and kind of, like, goes back in. So then when he fires the arrow, it comes off at a friggin' angle and explodes like a tree, like, due west of your position. And you hear him go, "Well, that wasn't supposed to, ow!" And you see a rock land at his feet that presumably had hit him. And the smallest yet-to-be-named guy in the distance had thrown it and is just, like, motioning them to follow. And he's gonna... So as he gets hit with an arrow, he gets hit with a rock, he, like, gets ready to fire another arrow, obviously, like, on his next turn. And he looks at you guys as you... Flavian's gonna do another dash action, so now he's gonna be behind Maja.
Okay.
Is that true? Yeah. He'll be behind Maja, like, relative to the bad guy's position, and then presumably you are to follow, but we'll do that in a second. And he is... Or as he's running off in that direction, Flavian, you hear the sound of shink shink, swords being drawn in the distance, and you hear from far away the sound of a voice that you had not yet heard go, "They're over here too!" Presumably the third one, who's far in the distance, that being his sword.
Okay.
So that's gonna end their turn.
All right.
And now it's your turn.
I'm gonna do a dash action too. So the small one unsheathed the sword and then said that they're over there too.
Yeah.
All right. How far away are the ones that were shooting arrows at us?
You don't know.
Okay. Is a perception check an action?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. If he's gonna use her first level spell slot and bless all three of them. So you bless up to 3 creatures of your choice within range. Whenever a target makes an attack roll or a saving throw before the spell ends, the target can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to the attack roll or saving throw.
Okay.
And this is concentration, so it lasts up to a minute. So that's like 6 rounds of combat.
Yep.
So I think that she, like, uncorks something and downs it, and then she just, like, as she's running, she's like, "All right, guys, get it together." And then keeps running.
Cool. So it's all of the people.
All three of them.
All three of them. So you, but also you.
Not me.
Not. Oh, so only them.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Cool. So they're all hashtag blessed up. Cool. And you dashed. Is that true? Well, dash is an action.
Or I just ran.
So you just ran and then you did that also.
Is this an action? Yeah, this is an action. Yeah. So I blessed and then just ran the 30 feet.
Okay, cool. 30 feet, running. So now you are 30 feet away from Flavian, who fully expected you to run the amount that he ran. And as he sees you, like, doing some crap, he's going to turn behind you and go, "Are you crazy?"
Yeah.
And Major goes, "Yeah." And you hear, like, the sounds of a scuffle in the distance, and that's your turn? Okay. You hear your life flash before your eyes. You sure do. Cool. So, As you slow, we'll say that, like, because you were like, what is a dash, but you running really as fast as you can, you would have to slow down because you were dashing. So you to run this 30 feet instead of the 90 or 60 feet. So you slow down to do your like bless on them. And as you slow down, it's like slow motion. You see Flavian turn around, and Maja, who is like knocking another arrow in his bow still behind his back, look over, and like they looked kind of like, okay, we got this under control. And as they see you standing there, you see both of their faces completely fall, staring at you, and you hear, you don't feel it because you can't do that. It's too much for one person's brain to comprehend. But you hear it, and you see all of the symptoms of it having happened. You see around you an explosion of blood, and you hear from far away the sounds of impact, and you see the horror on the faces of the two guys that were looking in your direction. And it's funny because they're talking to you. You can tell they're looking right at you. They're both talking to you, but you don't hear what they say. Then all of a sudden they're a lot higher up, and then you don't see them anymore. The only thing you see is the ground, and it's freezing cold as your face impacts with like the leaves and the detritus that kind of cushions your fall, as they hit you both for 15 damage.
Okay.
And as you lay on the ground bleeding with the two arrows sticking out of your back, you start to feel the pain all at once. Go ahead and roll a death save.
All right. 6.
Okay, this fail.
Yeah.
You start to feel the pain, but as quickly as it comes, it kind of goes. You kind of feel like it blooming like red dye in some water, like in your kind of perception, and then it kind of fizzles out at the edges into nothing. And you can feel all of a sudden the ground starts feeling not so cold. You couldn't feel anything at all. Then you could feel this pain. You can also feel hands on you, kind of grabbing at you and grabbing at your clothes. And then you feel a hand kind of roughly pull the top of your shirt back, like someone grabbing at your collar. And it's extremely uncomfortable. Like, that's all that you can feel, is that it is extremely painful. Are you going to do anything about it? Or are you...
I think that she just, like, weakly says, like, don't take them out.
That's what you think you say. You open your mouth to say those words, but you don't hear them. You don't know what they possibly could be. And then all of a sudden, that pain stops, and it's replaced by like a dull kind of warm sensation in your body, and a familiar flavor of something that would be familiar to you from training. You know kind of what it is. Slides down your throat, and you realize that someone has just given you a healing potion.
Okay.
So you got given a healing potion, so it's 2d4 plus 2.
Okay. Do you want me to roll for it?
Yeah, go for it.
7 hit points.
Cool. So you're not looking great, but you're looking alive. You feel these like rough hands on your head because you fell forward. They're kind of pulling you up to a sort of seated position, kind of on your knees, and you drink this potion, and you're not really able to drink it until all of a sudden you feel it working, and then you kind of like get the last of it down you, and you can kind of feel all the places that had been you could feel that they had come apart in your back. You feel them kind of knitting back together, and everything it was cold and you could feel the wind. Everything felt even more intensely cold than it does now. Despite your having warmed up a bit from the exertion, you felt, clammy and unnatural, weird. All that kind of starts to go away and fade. And you kind of blink into focus the like medium-sized one, and you can see that the bigger one was also like with you, and was like gave you the potion, and the medium-sized one's kind of standing in front of you with his bow out, still behind his back, and kind of like for to, you would imagine, cover you guys while this took place.
Yeah.
And you see looking at you is this Summer Eladrin, his like helmet super askew at this point, looking at you with the look of good roll insight check.
Okay. 10.
A look of pure irritation. Just like purely irritated. And you can't, he's talking to you, you cannot hear what he's saying. Like you can hear that kind of one like tinnitus note.
Yeah.
As you kind of shake off what you're feeling. What are you doing right now? What's going on with you?
I think that she's kind of like staring at him, like staring at his mouth, trying to be like, lip read, like, what are the words coming out of your mouth? And when she realizes that she can't hear him, she tries to say to him, I have no idea what you're saying right now.
I said, if you're dead, we're all dead.
Oh, now I can hear you.
And get up and move. And he's gonna like kind of pull you up. And you hear the one that's like gonna shoot the Major.
Yeah.
Kind of like say to you, you've got to take these things seriously. And he's gonna shoot an arrow behind his back. He gets a nat 20.
Woo!
Look at that. This is like, how many nat 20s have I rolled? You hear him pull the arrow back, and it like whistles like crazy. You can see it kind of like bowing, if you will, in the air as it travels. It's going so fast. It's like splitting the air around it. And you hear it, you don't hear like the sound, you can hear the sound of the impact of the arrow with the other shots. With this one, you just hear the like scream of the person who it impacted, and you can tell that it was a nasty nasty arrow. And he's gonna as he kind of like, everybody decides, okay, it's time to run away now, like Flavian is not running, he's there and he's like staring at you. He's going to reaction dash action, and it's going to be triggered by you doing a dash action.
Okay.
So there's that. And Maja is gonna kind of like look over his shoulder and chuckle and go, I told you I shoot better. Like, and he starts like running, and then I told you, you didn't believe me. I wasn't just, doing one of those.
Yeah.
And then you hear in the distance, yeah, it's really funny. And someone's having a rough time right now, and he is gonna hit a nasty high elf soldier with a nice short sword explosion. 5 + 4, 9. Cool. And you hear him go like, really funny, and like pulls a sword, and then you just hear blam in the distance as he gets like a little like stab off on the
That's him gagging.
Soldier. Yeah. I gagged him with my knife. I stuck it down his throat. And that is going on. And bada bing, bada boom. And yeah, Flavian is just staring at you with like unbelievingly, as you kind of like get your wits about you and the impact feeling kind of wears off. He looks at you and says, you should be at home baking.
Okay.
That's the end of their turn. You know that you have never had, you recognize them because you're in the same uniform. They do not know that you are a baker.
Yeah, that my parents are.
He's making a woman joke, not a you specific joke. Just saying that. Cool.
I think that she's gonna laugh a little bit and reach up and grab his ears like a gesture of like a mom gesture of affection, and she's just gonna be and what would you do without me? And she's gonna get up and dash.
Okay, cool. So you both dash 90 feet in the other direction. Mage fired an arrow, so he only dashed, or he only ran 30 feet. So right now, you two are even, like, because they had run up to your position, back towards the archers. And so now you're all moving towards the third yet-to-be-named friendly, who is gagging the other guy. I got my spoon out and I gagged it. He didn't like it at all. He didn't like.
It's funny because I said he's gagging like he did like blood, and then you're like, oh, he stuck his knife down.
Oh, that's what you meant. I thought it'd be funny. I don't know.
It is
funny. But oh yeah, I see what you mean. Like he's like screaming. Oh, okay, I like that better. He stabs him. He's like, bleh. I was drafted. I've been drafted. I didn't want to come. Cool. So you're running in that direction, and Flavian will react to that on his next turn. Yeah. So you get up and you run in that direction. Anything else?
No.
Yeah, okay, cool. So, it's the bad guy's turn. You hear whistling, not past your ears, but behind you. And you see Major's lining up a shot at one of them, and before he could get it off, he's got 2 arrows coming right at him. And they both hit.
Ooh.
Yep. So he is going to get hit for 9 plus 8, 17. Yeah, so you can see him lining up a shot, and then you just hear, like, as the 2 arrows impact into his body, and you hear him go, well, that wasn't supposed to happen. The other guy's gonna roll a hit, and then he's gonna hit 1d6 plus 4, 5 plus 4 is 9. And you hear, ooh, as the guy in the distance gets hit, and he goes, blap. I never get used to it. I just don't know. Why am I here? Gets hit in the distance. And cool. Now it's the boys' turn. So you guys are running away, and then Maja is also going to dash now. So he's going to do 90 feet of dash.
90?
60, sorry.
Okay, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, so he's dashes, he does 60 feet, and he's going to kind of turn, look at you as he's running past you and say, full Doppler effect is in effect right now. He's like, hey, you wouldn't happen to have any potions? As he's like bounding past you. And you can see the 2 arrows like sticking out of the same shoulder. That arm kind of like moving less happy than the other arm, booking it in the direction of the last guy. And he is 60 feet away from the last guy. So you guys are 90 feet away from the last guy.
Okay.
And Flavian is going to ready a reaction to run. When you dash, he is going to run 30 feet.
Okay, he's not going to dash?
No.
Okay.
But he's going to use his normal movement, and he is going to use the dodge action.
Okay.
That's what he will ready, and the trigger is you dashing.
Okay.
So he's going to do those things. He's going to say, you're the reason we're in this mess in the first place.
Okay.
That's all he's going to say. And that's going to end their turn. Wait, the last guy, did he friggin' hit him? Did he hit the other guy? Or did he just get hit? The swords.
Oh, he got hit.
He got hit, so he didn't hit him? Okay, cool. So he's going to hit him too. There we go. That's what I forgot. Well, he misses anyway, so it doesn't matter. So he's going to, you hear just as the sword like whips in the air, and he goes, I'm just feeling a bit nauseous. And so, cool, he misses, and now it is your turn.
Yeah. I think that Iffy says to the guy, she's gonna dash to the guy saying like, you don't have any potions, do you? She's gonna be like, I got 2 left. And then she like turns to the other guy as she's running, and she's just like, I'll make it up to you later. How about that? And like keeps going.
As you say that and you dash away, he raises an eyebrow and winks at you. Well, does he? Well, does he? He raises an eyebrow and he winks at you, and it's extremely suave. Goodness.
I think if her face gets all red, she's like, I mean by healing y'all. I don't.
I've got a girlfriend, lass. And cool. So you run away.
Yeah.
Cool. And Major said he still thought you were pretty though. That conversation definitely took place. I just want to say. The potion, by the way, would be lovely. So as you're running, you dash away, all cool. You dash, and any other thing on your turn?
How low is that one guy?
That one guy is
Major.
27 out of 44.
All right, he's good.
He's good. He'll make it. Cool. So you are running. You hear this time a single arrow whistling in the forest, but you don't hear any impact. Nobody gets hit. You kind of like turn and you can see Flavian is like, he's doing the dodge action. So he's like, he's doing like the up to like on my tiptoes.
Motion, yeah, on
my tiptoes. But no arrow comes, and you kind of see him like lose a little spunk as he's like, that was supposed to be aimed at me, but it wasn't. I don't know. And there was only one. So
all right.
There was not a second arrow that was fired. And then Maja is joining the other guy in destruction of the soldier. And he's going to pull out his short sword and get to work. And he's going to miss. He goes to grab the sword with his arm that has the 2 arrows in it and goes, I forgot. And he doesn't like get his hand all the way on it. So he just like kind of flops his arm around. And the other guy goes, get it together, mate. Pulls out his sword. He's going to do some work. Is he? Maybe not. Golly. He is. Cool. Thank God for that. So he's gonna hit 1d6 plus 4. He does, holy crap, 5 damage. And you can see, like, as he goes to hit the guy, you can see him kind of, like, doesn't really commit to any of his strikes. And you can see that he's got, like, a little, just from his posture, that there's fear in his eyes. As the enemy Wethway soldier kind of like bears down on him, and he kind of like sticks his arm out for like a little quick cut. And you could have to do better than that. And that's gonna be their turn.
Okay.
What's your turn looking like?
So how far away am I from that little group now? Since I dashed.
I think you were 60 feet. We'll say you were 60 feet.
Okay, so then I'm there.
So you're there now, yeah.
Okay,
you can assist.
So
if I didn't say that, I don't care. It don't make no difference.
All right, she's gonna take out her mace then and friggin' like whip around and just like hurl it at the guy. I mean, not let go of it, but she's gonna roll to hit. Doesn't 12.
Yeah, you whiff.
Yeah.
And this freaking high elf soldier is getting a little confident. He's just like, is this really the best the Talenti clan has to offer?
Yeah, just about.
And then he goes, oh.
I'm just being honest.
When you say that, do you have an accent when you speak Elvish?
I think so.
Okay.
I think because she grew up mostly in the Toadsfroth clan, so I think that even though, like, in her family household they were speaking Elvish and that's why she knows it, she really got an accent from mostly speaking Sylvan, I think is what she was speaking in the Toadsfroth clan.
Roll an insight check.
Okay.
Or roll a perception check.
23.
When you sound, like, funny, you hear you can tell that the high elf is taken aback by your accent. Like, he wasn't expecting you to sound like that. And you hear the one that's like next to you go, yes, she's worse than that. She's mixed. As you fully whiff your mace hit.
Yeah.
Do you want to do anything else?
The one that's on my side says that?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
I think that she knows that she's fully joking because she would never do this, but I think she's like, wow, you better hope you don't get hurt.
Cool. That's the end of your
Yeah.
turn. For some reason, you want to die. How many hit points do you have? 7?
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen,
right.
I got 2 spell slots left.
You can't use them if you get hit now, and then your hit point total drops to 0. You realize that, right?
Well, you know.
All right, cool. So this guy's gonna roll the hit. He gets a 19.
Cool.
1d6 plus 4.
There's a chance.
Yeah. Cool. You roll a 3. So... when you kind of run up on him, everyone is kind of busy except for, well, they're not really. Like, as you kind of run towards them, okay, I'm done saying, his name is Theriot, the small one.
Theriot?
Theriot is already kind of, tangled up with the one soldier. Maja goes to try and help and fully whiffs a hit. Flavian is fully thinking he's going to play chicken with some arrows to give you guys some time to get away, and then all of a sudden there's no arrows to play chicken with. Or at least they're flying in another direction. And as you run up to the guy, you see them, the 2 friendly soldiers, Theriot and Major, kind of looking at you, thinking that you are running kind of to get behind them. And all of a sudden they see you take out their mace, and when you go to hit and you whiff, they kind of look at you like, what are you, like, what is the game plan here? And then the guy says the thing to you, and then you hear she's mixed, or whatever. And then as they say that the guy is like fully turning his attention on you, you can go ahead and roll a perception check.
Okay. 11.
As you turn your head, you see in the tree kind of behind, you're facing this guy.
Yeah.
You're kind of facing between him and Theriot, as Theriot makes the remark. You see in the tree, kind of behind both of them, sunlight glinting off an arrow. And the arrow is pointed directly at either Maja or Theriot. And you realize all of a sudden that you've been hearing Maja say something. The whole time your mace was like whipping past this guy, he had been screaming, fall back at you. And all of a sudden you realize that that's what he had said as you approached and you went to hit with the mace. And you're staring at the guy who turns on you and looks at you when he hears the phrase, you're mixed. Looks at you with this like look of just pure confusion. Like all of a sudden, before he was like, Eladrin, this is known calculus. And then all of a sudden he's looking at you like you are some sort of animal. Like there's no recognition of kind of like mono like pinched combat, like man versus man, like human, or like, elf versus elf. Yeah. All of a sudden he's looking at you like you are nothing, like the dirt under his boot. Yeah. And he pulls you kind of get lost in that, because all of a sudden his eyes, they go from being the eyes of an understanding intellectual creature, all of a sudden he's got like the ice cold eyes of a shark, like a predator. And you get kind of caught up in this moment of your eyes meeting, and you see the shift in them as he changes from same playing field, different sides, to predator and prey. Yeah. Like, just all of a sudden this is some sort of moral wrong that he is all too happy to right. And as you are experiencing that, you hear the sound of his short sword entering your abdomen, just like cracking through there. And as that happens and you feel kind of the sword come out on the other side of your body, you see in your eyes like the look of, you kind of look to your compatriots for something, assistance or whatever. They look at you. Go ahead and roll a disadvantage insight check.
All right. 15.
Theory, it looks... Wow.
Yeah.
That was good. Theory, it kind of looks, because you're significantly taller than him. You and Mage is a little bit shorter than you. Theory, it looks up at you with a look of pure oblivion. Like he's looking at you like, what is wrong with you? You are not... This isn't a game. Like, you are not... You're here to die. Like, you're not worth wasting any more resources on. And Maja, as you feel this enter your body, you see him look at you with, like, a stone cold, like, 1,000-yard stare expression, like, pinpoint pupils, just, like, looking at you. Like, he had gained some sort of emotional ground when they brought you back, and he was riding that high, and then it was all gonna be fine, and now it's not anymore. And he's looking at you, and he looks kind of like stone, like ice, like stone cold, like just got hit with like a hammer in the forehead. And you fall to your knees at the feet of this high elf, and you're laying on the ground. Go ahead and roll a death save. Do you roll those on... Does it have to be your turn to roll those?
I don't think it matters.
Okay, well, we'll cinematically make you roll one now.
All right. 6.
Cool. So fail on your thing. And you feel all of a sudden, you've never felt this before, but it could only be this. You feel the heel of a boot on your head.
Okay.
That's gonna end their turn. Next up, it's the guy's turn, and you can't really you can't really figure out what the heck is going on. You can hear above you what appears to be some sort of argument. And you hear still the like clinking of steel and all that good stuff. And you feel in the ground the heavy footsteps of who you imagine is Flavian, like running back in your direction. But you can't really parse what's going on. Go ahead and roll another death save.
18.
Ooh, a victory. Cool. And so when you roll that death save, your eyes kind of flutter open, and you see in the distance, you can barely kind of see it, a few more familiar uniforms.
Okay.
And you hear yelling and feel hope. You can't think it, you can't understand why, whatever, but you can feel it kind of bubbling up within you. What is going through Iffy's brain right now, like while she's laying there?
I think that she's thinking about how it feels to have a boot on her head. I think that she's like stuck on that, where it's just very much, because I think that's the most present feeling at the moment. I think that like...
Yeah, well, just because he's not just like standing there. People are attacking him. So as his boots on your head, and then it leaves suddenly. You could maybe put together in your stupor that someone knocked him off of you, but you still have that feeling. Yeah.
I feel like she's like looking around and like seeing that and being like, oh cool, and then like is like thinking about the boot on her head, and she's just being like, why do they have to be so cinematic all the time? Ew, that's like so dramatic. You kill me, put your boot on my head. Like, she's just like thinking about that, where she's just like, that is unnecessary.
So as you kind of feel that, you see these uniforms in the distance, and you're kind of like, you're like half-lidded eyes, doing that stupid thing where you can't focus on everything, so you focus on the dumbest possible thing you focus on. As you're doing that, as I roast your character like choices, as you do that, you see in the distance one of the uniforms fall
Okay.
as an arrow explodes in his chest. And now it'd be your turn. Good, roll another death save.
14.
Oh, lucky you did. Cool. So you kind of like open your eyes a little bit more and you realize you're looking kind of off into the distance, just where your eyes had landed when you fell. You hear a noise, look down at your feet, and then you see a line of Wethway soldiers. So it seems, TLDR, it seems as though the battle is converging to an extent on your current position, or at least people have heard a scuffling and they've come to investigate things of that nature. And through your like kind of like blinking half-lidded eyes, you see like flashes of movement, people running towards you, people running all over the place, just fog of war, cacophonous sounds of clinking metal around you, dirt being kicked up. You feel someone step on your ear like that.
Yeah.
No one is paying any attention to anything specific anymore. And then all of a sudden you feel it's like you can see, but nothing in detail and nothing up close. It's just you're picking up enough to know the general ideas of what must be going on. You feel an ice cold gloved hand on your cheek and someone manipulating your face.
Okay.
Just like turning it back and forth. Do you react to that at all?
Yeah, I think that she like kind of scrunches her eyebrows and like tries to focus on like
Yeah,
train her eyes.
The sunlight, good roll and insight check.
Disadvantage?
Yeah, disadvantage.
Rolled a nat 20 and a 17.
Oh, dang.
So 22.
You as your face is being manipulated, you hear someone in the background go, "Is that Major?" And then you hear him go, "He's already gone." And you feel underneath your back and then underneath your kind of midsection, you feel like immense pressure. Well, first you feel yourself stabilize at 0.
Oh, it's sick.
Yeah. Let me actually roll that first. I don't even know. Do they?
What, is it a healing potion or is
No,
it
it's
spare the dying?
a medicine check.
Oh, yeah, so you just get stabilized at 0. They do have to roll for it. They have to roll above a 10.
Cool. You got meets it beats it. They got a 10.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you got you stabilize at 0. So you feel yourself kind of all of a sudden just like like catch your breath.
Yeah.
And you pop back into you-ness. And as you're kind of like opening your eyes and blinking, you feel yourself being like immense pressure on your chest and your lower body as you're being lifted, like firemen's carried.
Yeah.
And you feel someone like running with you
Okay.
on their back.
I feel like she just kind of lets that happen. She's like, well, what am I going to do about this if they're not, if this is somebody that's not helping me? I mean, they seem to be.
And as you kind of stand up and they stand you up and they're running off in the distance, you hear another one go, "I don't have any potions left." And you can kind of see them manipulating the body of like a fallen soldier who had presumably fallen, like near you from where your position was.
And I'm at 0, right? I'm not at 1.
No, you're at 0.
Okay, yeah.
So that is kind of the last thing you see as you blink everything away into blackness. And yeah, then it's just blackness. Any final iffy thoughts, like as she drifts away?
I think she's thinking about how cold this person is. Like, I think she's thinking about how cold he is and then surprised by how nice it feels on the wounds that she has. I think that she's just like, usually I don't really like the cold. It's kind of numbing this stuff. And then that's it.
Cool. You don't wake up all at once. You kind of wake up in little pieces.
Mm-hmm.
When you do wake up, you are horizontal in a hospital tent.
Mm-hmm.
And you're out of it
Mm-hmm.
in the way that one would imagine. And you're definitely sore, that's for sure. But you're not in any kind. You can feel you're in pain, but you're not in danger.
Yeah.
Everything just feels a little bit hazy, and you feel a little drunk on whatever it is that you've been given.
Yeah.
And you're kind of warm and cold and comfortable and uncomfortable because you're lying down, but uncomfortable because of every other possible physical stimulus. And you're in, it looks like, you can't even tell, you know that it has to be some sort of hospital tent, but it just looks like colors and shapes. And there are two guys that are kind of sitting next to each other talking near you.
I think that Iffy's gonna try to sit up.
Cool. So yeah, you fully can. And as you said, you can feel like the points of impact, like the slashing of the stabbing of the sword in your stomach, all of that got like wrenched apart, that got put back together, the arrow wounds in your back. That's like your universe is just those sensations. You kind of feel yourself get a little like lightheaded or whatever. And you realize as you kind of sit up and moving around that there are lots of other people who are vaguely kind of doing that, like sitting up eating dinner on their bed, like some people are trashed, like full bandages, like blood, pouring and stuff like that. And you look around and you see like every manner of stages of injury. And these two soldiers that are like eating a can of beans in the kind of like middle of this tent, they look perfectly healthy. They're just there, shooting the breeze, having dinner. Maybe they're visiting somebody that they know. And that's kind of what you see as you sit up.
Okay, she's gonna try to stand up and like...
Cool. Roll a disadvantaged constitution save. The DC is 13.
I got a 12.
Cool. So you make it like... You scoot kind of to the edge of your bed, and your feet hit the ground. You kind of like scoot yourself forward like you're gonna stand up, and you feel every aspect of your body conspiring against you to make it so you cannot stand. And so you go to like lean forward, you feel yourself like get lightheaded, and you're very off kilter, and you like can't complete the motion. Like, you're just gonna fall over if you do. And so you're just kind of sitting on the edge of your bed.
I think that she like puts her head in her hands. She's like, all right, Iffy, come on, get it together. Like, she's just like trying to will herself to be like, stop. The room shouldn't be moving. So let's figure that out first.
Roll a disadvantage perception check.
19.
As you kind of do that, you hear someone say, yeah, she's the reason Major got killed.
I think that she's gonna look up and try to see who said that.
Cool. Roll a perception check.
Another disadvantage one?
Yeah.
10.
Cool. So as you look up, you see like very in the corner of this like hospital tent, there are a couple other guys that look healthy, like they're standing up having a conversation. In the corner, you can tell that it must have been them, both because of the voice. You're kind of hazy on that, but also because the one who probably said it is looking directly at you as he says it.
I think that she looks at him and kind of like shakes her head a little bit, and she's like, "No, I don't remember killing no Talenthy folk, so you got something to say, you can come say it to me."
He kind of like looks at you and goes like back to talking to the other guy, and the other guy kind of turns and walks over. He kind of turns like head first, like his head whips around, and then his shoulders turn, and he walks over to you.
She's gonna like look up at him.
Yeah, he's another summer Eladrin. He's kind of like a lighter orangey yellow, and he's gonna kind of like stand up, and he's like looking down on you, and he's kind of like underlit. There's a fire in the center of the hospital tent, and he's like lit from below.
Now you gonna speak your mind?
He's gonna take a knife out, and he's gonna put it in your throat.
What we're doing here? You want to do that?
What is it that you came here to do?
What is it that I came here to do?
Be a waste of resources.
She's like rubbing her head and like squinting her eyes. I'm a waste of resources. Oh, man.
Flavian said they had to save you once before. You ran right back into the fray.
Flavian. Oh, you mean the one that kept getting hit with arrows, and if I didn't, do what I was trained to do, would have died?
He's gonna.
You mean that one?
He's gonna take the knife and like stick it more like close to your throat. And the other guy that was behind him before kind of like he's like looking over shoulder, and then he kind of like turns his face away. Good, roll a perception check.
Okay. Disadvantage?
Yeah.
7.
You hear like movement around you, but you're kind of focused on the situation at hand.
I think that Iffy, like, she has to stop moving so that she doesn't get hurt. I think that she's like, her eyes are like meeting his, and I think that she knows that she's at the disadvantage, because she's like, what am I don't have anything on me, and also I'm injured and can not even stand up. I think that she's just kind of like, she's making eye contact with him and says, you gonna make this choice? You sure about that?
He's like staring directly into your eyes. Do you really have no remorse?
Do I have no remorse? I didn't kill him. I wasn't the one who did kill him. I was trying to help. What do you expect me to do, huh? I only got so much on me that I can carry. He was fine before I went down.
You had to be saved twice.
Y'all didn't have to do anything. They decided to save me. I didn't ask them to. They can make any choice they want to.
That's the wrong answer. And he's gonna take the knife and he's gonna stick it like underneath your throat. Like he's like pushing it into your throat. How can we depend on you, medic? If you're just gonna try and get yourself killed, would you expect us to leave you to die?
If you wanna. I'm not gonna leave any of y'all to die.
He's gonna twist it a little bit. What are you here to do?
What do you mean, what am I here to do?
Just play games? You realize it's life or death.
Yeah, I think I'm the one that realizes it the most. I deal with the life and death of all of y'all every time I go out there. How far into the war is this?
You're level 3.
I don't know what that means.
Not that far.
Okay.
Like, very...
Like a year?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's just kind of like staring at you.
Like, I don't see you out there with any medic training. You could have done that. All you know how to do is this. And she like, kind of, her eyes like flit down to the knife. If you do this, you can't fix it.
What do you think that means? You're better than me?
Nah. I don't think I'm better than no one. You obviously think you are, though. We're all one big group here. Ain't nobody care about us. Why do you think we're here? We're all the same. Maybe not to you, maybe not to me, but to the folks who matter, we're all just one entity. Do this here. You ain't no better than the other people on the other side. And you're down one medic, so you make that choice.
Down one useless medic.
Useless? I mean, I hope that Flavian realizes that if I didn't give him anything, all those potions that I gave him, he would also probably be here or worse.
Flavian said they got hurt trying to save you.
Got hurt trying to save me. I think he got hurt because a Wethway soldier shot an arrow at him.
You were alone in the woods, weren't you?
Yeah, I was trying to find my way back.
Says you were ambushed. They saw you. They went to save you. They were trying to run away.
They could have kept running away. Look.
Do you not realize?
I appreciate what they did for me. I do. But I ain't gonna say it's my fault that somebody died because somebody else decided to kill them.
If it was your fault they're in that situation in the first place. Your job is not to run into the fray.
How else am I supposed to save y'all when you get hit, huh? You think that you bleeding out is gonna wait for it all to calm down?
You think that you bleeding out is you're gonna be there to save people's lives when they go down. That's your job. Your job isn't to spill blood. You can see other people turning to look at this argument. You realize that. That's our job. Your job is to keep us safe and alive. And not waste bloody military resources. So do your job or go home to where you came from.
Is that what this is about? Trust me less because I don't speak like y'all, don't look like y'all.
It's because you don't act like us.
Ah.
So self-involved.
You want to make everything back there be futile by doing this. You know, they could have left me there and then I would have died. Or all this happens and then you kill me.
You're right. What a shame. All those potions would have gone to waste. He's gonna take the knife and put it in his pocket. And he looks up, and when he looks up, he kind of looks past you. And you see his eyes kind of get big for a second, and he's gonna duck his head and walk away.
Mm-hmm. I think Iffy's gonna kind of watch him for a second and then look behind her to see what he reacted at.
You see in the dark of the night, walking into the glow of the tent, your commanding officer, Lieutenant Vitil. Vitil. You saw that the person that he was presumably having a word with before he walked in that direction, kind of walking off, as he kind of nods his head towards them and looks back towards you all and starts walking in your direction. And he walks into the tent, and you can see, go ahead and roll an insight check.
Okay. 15.
You can see on his eyes that things have not gone necessarily to plan.
Yeah.
As he looks at the kind of surveys the hospital tent, you can see there's he is Summer Eldrin also. Mm-hmm. He's kind of a little bit more late summer, early autumn. Mm-hmm. So he's got kind of a very kind of ruddy brown to his complexion, a reddish brown. And he's like kind of there's like a tightness to his expression as he surveys the hospital tent. And he's like kind of catching people's eyes. Go ahead and roll a history check on him, just so you see what you know.
9.
He is extremely popular, mostly because it seems like he is extremely friendly, which is uncommon. You've had commanding officers who were a lot more kind of standoffish.
Yeah.
He's a lot more buddy-buddy with the soldiers. And also you know that he was raised by orcs.
Okay.
These are the two things that you know about him, because people will like make fun of him behind his back for like being brutish. But he walks into the tent, and he's gonna you have sort of like a joking rapport.
Like me and him.
Yeah, but
Okay.
not really anything more, because you're so insignificant to him. Anytime he has to address you, he calls you the Bombery.
Okay. The bomber.
Like that's the only thing. Is that because he thinks your last name is funny.
Yeah.
There's no other, like he's never spoken to you.
Yeah.
He just calls you that. And he's gonna like look. He's like looking, and he's not looking kind of at you at all. He's looking over you just because you're so kind of close to him. And it looks like he's kind of like just taking a moment. Do you want to do anything or say anything? You're just gonna kind of sit there.
No, I think that she's just gonna sit there.
And he's gonna kind of like walk in through the tent, and as he's walking around, you see him kind of like walking around, like talking to a couple of the people. No one is looking at you, and that didn't happen. You know what I mean? Like no one is looking at you or around you.
I feel like she wants to try to stand up again.
Okay, do a disadvantage con save. I'll say it's straight because you've been getting with it.
12.
Okay. You are like, I'm gonna lower the DC to 10.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Just because you're like, before you were just had woken up, but now you've had a whole conversation.
Yeah.
So you can make it to your feet. You're kind of like stooped a little bit. Yep.
Cool. I think she's like standing up, and I think that she wants to try and just leave the tent.
Cool. Are you doing it stealthily or anything? You're just like walking out. You hear like a little noise, and then you hear someone go, "Bombery."
Yeah.
Do you turn in that direction? Your commanding officer raises his eyebrow at your insufficient address.
I think that she realizes who says it, and she's like, and like tries to compose some sort of like stand up at attention.
I wanted a word with you.
All right.
And he's gonna kind of like walk in your direction. He is not as tall as you, but he reads as tall as you. You know what I mean? He's got like a big presence. And as he's like walking towards your direction, you can kind of like feel it like coming off of him a little bit.
Yeah.
Right now, you guys are all in like what you wear under, like a linen tunic, like light brown type thing, and some like linen pants or whatever. And he is in like Talenti soldier uniform, which is like a like brownish green, match the terrain type affair. Just out of cloth, and then like boots, like dark leather boots. And he is going to walk you kind of like outside of the tent. Like he kind of like overtakes you and then like head motions you in the direction of away, and you're just following him.
Yeah.
And so it is pitch freaking black outside of the tent. Like there's a few scattered fires, but nothing like too clockable, you know. Not this tent is, reasonably far into the Talenti like border, so it's not it's not close to the front. It's far enough away that it would be you're safe.
Yeah,
this is like gonna have a hospital tent. but it is close that you can get back to the front when you need to.
Yeah.
So it's got to be pretty dark. And he's like walking you, and you feel now like much colder. Like you feel very cold. And he's going to sit down in front of a fire.
I think that she doesn't sit. Like, she's like, I didn't get permission to do that. So
He's going to like look up at you and raise an eyebrow, and then like motion to the like log on its side on the ground.
I think that she nods her head and sits down.
And he is going to take out of his... He like had it with him, but you couldn't tell. It was like in his bag that he has with him. He's going to open a thing and just hand you some beans with like a spoon, in a can, and just like hands that to you.
Thank you.
He's like looking at you while you're eating, and he's going to say, "I know what happened to you. Your last command. The platoon. I know that it was hard on you, losing so many. This is something that you would know. I'm not gonna roll history or anything like that, but you're in a different command than you were. You had recently transferred to this platoon because their forces, they got so wrecked.
Okay.
Where you were originally.
Okay.
Is like what he's talking about. And he goes, "You've got to get your head on straight."
I think that she like stops eating and looks over at him.
It's not your job to charge into battle, lass.
I didn't charge in the battle.
You're saying I'm wrong.
No, sir. She like looks down.
Look, lass, your life might mean nothing to you, but you're the only reason they'll go out. They know you'll be there.
My life does not mean anything to me. I don't want to die.
You died twice today. Doesn't seem to faze you.
I didn't die. I'm here right now. It wasn't my time. I can't be hung up on those things. I gotta take it as it is,
I'll put it bluntly. Since you don't seem keen on listening. If you don't start keeping yourself safe first, you'll be discharged. I don't need a maverick who's going to rush off into battle and get herself killed. Do you understand, lass?
I understand. I don't want to speak out of turn, but...
You can if you ask permission.
Can I speak out of turn?
Go right ahead.
I don't want to waste the small amount of resources that we get from wherever the hell this comes from on myself. I don't have that much. I can't carry that much on me. And what we do have, we don't have a lot of it. And if I I can't wait for things to cool down before I go and try and help somebody. Their injuries ain't gonna wait for me. So I have to be out there, and I only have so much that I can use. So if I can pick off the people that are doing the hurting, well, everyone's still somewhat all right. And maybe I won't have to use all of it up for something that's futile. You know, I heal them and then they just get hurt again because those folks are still out there. But if I can help make them not be out there, then I only have to use what I've got when it needs to be. That's why I didn't use any on myself. I had 2 left.
So instead you got yourself killed. They never got used. That's better.
I didn't mean for that to happen.
You're not a foot soldier, Balmry. You're a medic. You're not meant to be fighting at all.
What am I meant to do then? Hide?
You're meant to heal. If you're fighting, we've got problems. Look, when I received you as a replacement, I was told you had a bit of a problem getting this through your head.
Well, I do gotta say I'm the only medic that did survive. That's gotta show for something. Keep myself safe.
Don't know the circumstances specifically, or at least I'm not at liberty to share them with you. All I'm saying is that I told them that it wouldn't be a problem in my command. You've got to know your place. If I hear one more time that you're picking up that mace, we're going to have a real problem. The other clerics, when they got to your position, had already used all of their potions. Luckily, you weren't too bad off, so all they had to do was a medicine check. But others weren't so lucky. And you had 2 left. He's gonna stand up.
You'll probably hear about it anyways, even if it ain't true. A lot of folks around here don't want me to be here. For more reasons than just this.
Do you think you're being targeted?
No. I think I just stand out a little bit. Unnerves people.
Do you think you stand out a bit?
Yeah, I think I do.
Well, I suppose you do. I guess I can't relate completely, but I do stand out a bit as well. We've got to stick together. But you can't do a lot of sticking if you're dead.
I don't know, maybe I could do some.
Are you feeling all right?
I'm feeling fine.
Get yourself back to camp as soon as you can.
Understood.
let me know if anybody gives you any trouble.
All right.
All right. He's gonna turn and walk away.
I think Everson's gonna look down and like kick the dirt into like the fire and all that. Watch it kind of sparkle. Just finish eating her beans and get up, and I think she's gonna walk back to the medical tent, and she's gonna try and find whoever's kind of running that whole thing to look for replacement, like a replacement medical bag, since hers is kind of spent.
So when you go up to the like military doctor who's in charge of that area, he's like sitting on the ground, like drinking a cup of coffee, like that looks like it, like you can tell it's cold. You don't have to look at it. You see him like slurping it, and it's thick, like it's very whatever. And he's got kind of like his head down. He's just like drinking it, presumably done for the time being. There's like a few scattered like other medical personnel that are like tending to the wounded, but he's like taking a break for right now.
Do I know his name?
Yeah, his name is Martlet.
Martlet?
Yeah.
All right. I think that then she walks up to him, and I think this is just like, sir.
He's gonna like look up at you and roll his eyes.
I gotta get back to camp, but my med bag's kind of spent.
Do you want my permission or something?
No, I just need replacement supplies.
He's gonna like, you know that like you could get all of that. There's like a quartermaster on site that has like all the equipment that you would need. You have been to this camp once or twice, but not necessarily enough to know where everything would be. And he's gonna kind of like look over his shoulder in that area, and then like look back up at you, kind of like like expectantly, like, do you need anything else kind of way.
Thank you. She like turns and walks towards that way.
And you walk, over there. You get what you need. You get all outfitted, everything. After that, would you just head back to camp?
Yeah, I think so. I think that if Iffy also, like, while she's getting supplies and all that, sees any spare food, she's gonna take a little bit of it.
Not in the you would see like rations, that type of affair, like some frickin' hard tack like bread that keeps forever, stuff like that. So you just take a little bit of it, and you have your uniform, everything you need, and you're walking out. Cool. So you go to turn and start like walking back towards the front, like the like forward operating base, not like literally the
front lines.
Front lines. As you leave the like quartermaster's tent, you hear someone go, "Hey."
She's gonna turn to look at them,
and you see in the distance Flavian is walking towards you, and he's in his uniform, and he's got his arm like bandaged up. It's like in a sling.
Well, you here to give me an earful too?
No.
Well, that's surprising.
It's not your fault. I heard some of the guys talking about that, and I just wanted to say.
Well, I appreciate that.
And it's not because I think you're cute, because they said that's why.
You really got a girlfriend?
But I'm not allowed to appreciate the merchandise.
I think you find me cute because I'm one of the only girls around here.
Well,
Well, I starved, maybe.
He's gonna like kind of look down and away. Thanks.
I guess I should be saying that to you too.
You should.
Yeah. I think that she like, her mouth opens and nothing comes out, and she's like, thank you.
Now, was that so hard?
And a little bit, actually.
He's gonna like smile at you and look at me and say, you know, you're pretty brave for a medic.
Am I?
Well, I just mean, I guess not brave, but, and he starts kind of like walking with you, like walking next to you. I mean, you know, charging into the fray. Didn't seem scared at all.
Well,
especially for a girl, I mean.
Oh my God, shut up, man. Listen, just because I'm a girl ain't mean nothing. I can do everything you can and then some. I just look a bit different than you, but I look a bit different than everyone here, so.
That's true. You're half, right? Half,
Yeah. Can you guess?
Hobgoblin.
Yeah.
Am I close?
On the nose. No, I'm half human.
A human? Well, that explains it.
What does that supposed to mean?
Your awful voice.
My awful voice?
Yeah.
Is it that bad?
I mean, it's different, that's for sure.
It ain't that different. I mean, listen.
It's quite jarring when I heard you.
Oh, quite jarring. Listen,
You sound like you just finished a jar of peanut butter. If you don't mind my saying so.
I mean, doesn't matter if I mind, you already said it. Listen, I mean, look, my accent in Elvish ain't that bad. My mama was Summer Eldrin, so I got a bit of it, but, you know, growing up with a human dad and in the Toads Froth region, it's a bit hard to sound like the rest of y'all. It's just a bit more natural for me to speak this way, and I got a lot of other things to concern myself with than how the way I sound.
I think you should try and sound a bit more like us.
Why is that? Will it please you?
It's hard to understand you.
It's hard to understand me. Well, I don't really think y'all need to understand me.
You and Vatil.
Hard to understand Vatil. Y'all just got bad ears then. Ain't truly listening if you think it's hard to understand this. Listen, y'all need to be able to understand Vatil. I think it's easy to understand him. Y'all might just be a little bit stupid, who knows. But I think with me, y'all don't need to understand what I'm saying. I'm doing all the fixing to you. You just gotta trust me that I know what I'm doing. Which seems to be a bit sparse around here, but I don't know, I mean...
Well, I mean, you did, you know...
Fix you right up?
Charge back into the fray and...
Well, listen.
It's all random, you know?
What, who lives, who dies?
That might have been the best answer, and... I don't know. It's all, seems like it's random to me.
Well, it is. It is random.
You couldn't have seen that archer.
I didn't. But also, I mean... Look, I mean... The way that I see it, everyone came here to die, you know? Like, I hope it doesn't happen. And I'm trying to make it not happen for as many people as possible, but I think that if you come here with a different mindset, it's a bit delusional. And I think that every day that I wake up, at least, I know that it's a 50-50 chance whether or not I live or die. There ain't nothing I can do to make it lean more on one side or the other. You know? Even if I was face to face with the enemy, the likelihood that I'm gonna die doesn't increase. He could miss me, or he could choose to not. There's so many different options, and I don't even know what the right ones are. Maybe there aren't even right ones. I feel like everyone has all these opinions about what it is I should be doing, or what is right, what is wrong. And it seems like every turn, they all get juxtaposed from each other. My last platoon, I got an earful for doing the same thing, running into the fray, trying to save people and then also fighting others. I'm the only medic that survived. I was the last one left. All the other ones didn't do that. So what is right, I'm told to keep myself safe. How am I going to keep myself safe if somebody's up on me when I'm trying to heal someone? I'm not supposed to be the one to shed blood. Like, I get it. My main thing is to save people, and I'm trying to do that. But part of saving people is getting rid of the ones that are trying to hurt them.
That's not your job. That's our job.
Well, I keep getting told that. But, I mean, we weren't doing a very good job.
I don't know how that would have been improved upon by you trying to take on the guy.
Well, listen.
We just picked you up. You've just been hailed. And you run yourself right back in there. What do you think we're going to do? Look, I'm not saying I blame you. That's what I said. It's your choice if you want to, I don't know, run headfirst into danger, but what are we supposed to do? I think we're going to let you die because you're being stupid.
Is it being stupid? I mean,
You die for no reason. I think that's stupid.
no matter how I die, it's for no reason. What even is this? This whole thing. Do you even... I know that it's with territory or some kind of whatever, but what does that even mean to any of us? You still gonna... This war never happened. Let's say that the Wethway people took over, or let's say that we took over the Wethway side. People still gonna live where they're gonna live. People still gonna exist somewhere.
You're not thinking about it right.
Now explain it to me.
You're thinking about it in terms of territory or the point of it all. That's not what it's about. You're making it too complicated. It's about your brother next to you dying. You think about it like that, it becomes a lot more simple. If your goal is to make sure as much of us make it out of this as possible, you've got to be around to let that happen.
Yeah, I get it, right? You say dying for no reason would be stupid. I just don't see how any of it's got any reason to it. It doesn't. Doesn't mean I'm going to do any less. I'm still going to do what I was trained to do. And I'm going to do it to the best that I can, but All of it seems like a bit like we're playing pretend on behalf of two kids that are having fun watching.
Well, if that's the way you feel, it's not like you had to join in the first place, did you? Humans weren't drafted. You decided to join, no?
Did.
And why was that?
Someone said I couldn't. They said I wouldn't survive. I'd come running back. I ain't gonna do that.
Simple as that.
Guess so. I mean, I didn't even know what this war was about. I was still living more close to the Toesfroth region. It hadn't even reached us yet. Working in a bakery.
Where are you working in a bakery?
Yeah.
Well,
Thought that was funny what you said.
I was spot on, I suppose.
I guess so.
So it is just a game after all. So I should be surprised that it feels like a game. Doesn't make sense. You want to talk about something not making sense? It's not your home. It's not your family.
It's my family. I think you're forgetting I'm half.
You ever lived for a moment on Talenthy soil? Is that where you were living?
Yeah, that's where the bakery is. It was just on the border, you know.
Border's closed now.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's at home. We were supposed to get married. Hopefully we still will when we come back.
You enlist or you drafted?
I was drafted. It doesn't feel like a game to me. I don't think I want my life in the hands of someone who takes it as a game. Like I said, you're making it too complicated. And he's kicking like a rock down the road as you talk. You're making it too complicated. All you've got to think about is the lad bleeding out next to you. I wanted to keep you safe. You seemed, I don't know, a bit lost out there. A bit, I don't know, unhinged.
I've been called that once or twice.
It's not your fault because you were never supposed to be here in the first place.
Was I not?
Not if this is how you feel, frankly. You didn't kill Major. It's not your fault that he died. It's a Wefway soldier's fault. That's the truth. But he is dead now. You're still here. The only thing standing in between us in a early grave is you. So instead of thinking about the tragedy and drama of it all, how none of it makes any sense and nobody's dying for any reason, why don't you get your head in the game? He's gonna clap you on the shoulder.
I think that she kind of like looks down as they're like walking, like her head's just kind of like she's watching the ground. I mean, it's either that or getting discharged, so guess I better get my head on straight. Been told I'm missing a few screws, so maybe I'll go looking for them.
But it's nice to see I haven't gotten through to you at all.
Why you say that?
I don't know. Your motivation is not to keep your fellow soldier safe. It's to...
Why do you think I don't want to get discharged? Not because of pride or none. I don't... Pride could mean less than me. It would feel wrong to sit in a bakery making food for no one when I know that I know how to stop people from dying. Nothing feels right, but that definitely doesn't feel right.
He's just quiet for a while as you guys are walking back. I'm a bit more understanding than theories. I think they were related or something. So keep that in mind.
Where's he?
Not sure. I was getting patched up at the tent, so he made it out all right.
Well, I think you're a bit more understanding than a lot of folks around here, so. This was, quite honestly, a surprise. Didn't think you'd be the one to be saying this to me.
Well, you probably saved my life, so...
Probably. I think I for sure saved your life.
It's only after I saved yours.
Well, you know. Gotta give and you gotta take.
Figured I'd owe you something. A vote of confidence, if nothing else. If I'm hurt, the future, you'll come help me, right?
Is that a question?
It is. Will you run off and get yourself killed?
I came and helped you today. I know you want me to run away, but I ain't gonna leave anyone behind. You got hit twice. You don't think that they can hit a target that's running?
Our best shot is if you stay alive. As we've seen, they've got no qualms with targeting you lot. And I don't mean that, I mean medics.
I know what you mean. It's funny. You would think that they would have some decency to not do that. You know, we don't do that to theirs. But, I figured. Initially, I thought it was maybe because they knew that I was half. Bit of, well, I'd say all of you are a bit of a racist folk. But, my last platoon made me realize that that's not true, so. At least it's good to know that I'm not being racially profiled. It's a bit of a joke. You can laugh.
It wasn't funny.
Well, you know. I ain't never said I'm a comedian.
I like a laugh.
Do you?
I do.
What make you laugh, huh? What you find funny? Maybe I can figure out something.
He's gonna, look off into the world. Just, quiet for a while. And your conversation kind of just trails off and continues the whole walk back. You know, similar from topics of receiving advice to taking advice to all of that sort of thing. And you make it back to camp. Is there any other thing you want to do or say or anything?
What's your girlfriend's name?
Rain.
Rain. Well,
What's it to you?
I hope you guys see her again.
What's up to you, isn't it? He's gonna wink at you.
Well.
And the more you walk, the darker it seems to get until you get back to camp. And then the camera is gonna pan out. Flash forward in time. Away from this sleepy, dark, warm forest walking scene. There's like the sense of imminent danger, but also complete disregard of it at the same time. And it's just in Iffy's mind, just kind of warm and dark. And the camera is going to kind of pull up and fly through the air and fly through time into the sky. A bright, clear, gray-ish, like morning hazy kind of wash comes in front of it, and it touches back down, and when it touches back down, it lands behind a single individual, and the black-clad individual that is facing him, and we can sense the presence of one or two other individuals, but they're slightly obscured, a little shimmery around the edges. You wouldn't know that they were there unless you were looking for them. And as this person walks around the corner, some of the folks who are maybe a little bit harder for us to see, one of them grabs the back of Thalen's jacket and pulls him backwards as these black-clad folks round the corner. So just set the scene. We're hopping back into the end of the traveling party's previous interaction with these folks. So it is very early in the morning. The light is just starting to settle on Waypoint Town. There are very few people around, and Fingers is pushing Thalen backwards. Everyone is lined up behind Thalen. I believe it was... I can't remember the exact sentence. Maybe you do.
I saw you coming out of the orphanage.
That's right. There we go. You hear the first thief say, "So you coming out of the orphanage?" Thalen kind of takes an additional step backwards as he is being pushed back by Fingers, and the thief rounds the corner. And I'm not going to say who sees what because everybody sees it.
Yeah.
They're behind it. "We were going to tail you a bit longer, but we saw you pick up the pace. Guess you clocked us somehow." And as you see right now, everybody, Thalen is just kind of staring, you don't see the front of his face, but you don't see him making any indication that he's going to try and communicate. He's just kind of walking backwards. And Fingers, now that Thalen has gotten the picture, Fingers doesn't need to keep pushing him backwards, but he is standing in between. He wouldn't need to keep pushing him backwards, but he is for to be in between them. And as he rounds the corner and then is seeing kind of where everybody is, I'm going to roll. There are three of them.
Okay.
3 thieves. You can tell that there are 3 now. They're all kind of rounding the corner. And just in the interest of... there's definitely 1 in front and 2 behind, and they wouldn't necessarily be able to see you yet. But just in the interest of not rolling this 200 times, I'm going to roll all 3 perception checks at once.
Okay.
So, in order to see Tavamil, they have to beat a 15. In order to see the rest of you, they're going to beat 25. And the thief is going to turn the one in front, the other 2 kind of round the corner, turns his face to face directly at Tavamil.
Okay.
And says, "Didn't want to lose you. Are you feeling all right? You're looking a bit transparent."
I want Tavamil to make a insight check, I guess, to see if she can put together that he's talking to her.
Yeah. Go ahead, roll that for everybody.
Okay. Everson gets a 13. Yezi gets an 11. Tavmil gets a 9.
Okay. Got it. Finger's got a 5, so he's the only one who doesn't realize that Thalen is talking to Tavmil, or the thief is talking to Tavmil and not Thalen.
So does Tavmil realize that?
Yeah, she
Okay.
realized. The DC was 8, so everybody
okay,
else passes.
cool.
Just Fingers who doesn't realize. Oh, actually, sorry. I gotta roll Thalen too to see if he realizes. Oh no, Thalen also does not realize.
Okay. I think because Tavamil realizes, I think that she's gonna say, I'm feeling fine. Are you feeling alright?
Thalen is going to. You saw him open his mouth like he was going to answer the question, and then like turns and like looks behind him at you, and then like looks back up at the thieves and is like, I'm feeling fine. How are you? And he's like looking at you, very confused by your having talked. You know.
Yeah.
And you can see everybody because you know that they're all there, and you Fingers kind of turns. It's just like,
Yeah.
you know.
I feel like Tavamil like lets go of Yezi's hand, and I think Yezi lets her because she's just like, I know what's up. And I think that when Thalen does that, Tavamil like looks a little confused and then walks up and puts a hand on Thalen's shoulder and is like, "Are you all right?
What are you doing? I mean, yeah, I'm feeling fine. And he's gonna like turn back at the thieves, and they're gonna say, "Well, that's quite a surprise."
What's the surprise?"
They're like looking at you and looking at Thalen. You can see like the one in front. He's got his cloak on. He's got kind of like a like thin face, and you can see the like bright orange skin from underneath. He's kind of like blinking at you, kind of funny. And you can see the other two as they round the corner. One of them is like a light tan. You can see she's got her cloak up, but you can see that she's a girl, and she's got like kind of like light tan skin. And then the other guy is of indeterminable race. He's a lot smaller and a lot like thinner in the face. As they come around the corner, you see him kind of like reach, like he's like rubbing his eyes and kind of like doing one of these, like he's having trouble seeing you, and he's like, "Who are you?"
"Who am I?"
"I don't think it's them." "Who else would we leave in the orphanage? I mean, you know, in a cloaked like this. Is there anyone with you?" And he's gonna like reach an arm out and like sweep in front of him, like kind of in between him and Thalen. And Fingers is gonna have to get the heck out of the way.
Can Yezi give him the help action?
Yeah.
Cool. So
What is she doing to give him the help action?
I think that she kind of like clocks that he's moving his hand in that direction. I think that she like grabs the back of him and like pulls him backwards.
Cool. Dang, bro. You clock it way before he does, because he's kind of like looking at the scene and just trying to make of it whatever. And you see the hand come, and he goes to like back his head up, and you grab him by the scruff and just kind of yank him back before the arm can reach out.
Yeah.
And Thalen is going to say, "No, it's just us. You know, we're playing a hide and seek."
I'm really good at hide and seek.
She is. So she's hiding, and I'm seeking, and I guess she was behind me this whole time, and you found her.
Who are you looking for? You said that we weren't. It wasn't us or something like that.
When Thalen says that, they kind of like start looking at each other, and they're like looking at you and looking at him, and kind of look like, at first they were coming off very strong, and then when Thalen says that, it looking very like frazzled, but it kind of he would be, you know.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like putting two and two together, and they're like, maybe he's just playing, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you say that, and then they look at you, and someone says, "Well, I mean, we're looking for. Do you know Fingers by any chance?"
I've met a Fingers before. It seems like a lot of people were looking for him. I had the cop ask me if I've ever seen him before.
Fingers is like standing like at attention pretty much, and just kind of like looking around him like, what, we can't do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
I feel like
kind of
Yezi's grip tightens on the back of his collar, but not because she's trying to make him not move, because she's so like, what is this?
You're like concerned about what's going on. Well, he lives there, doesn't he?
Lives where?
In the orphanage.
I guess so. I'm not really sure. I do know that a lot of the kids miss him because they hadn't seen him for a really long time.
Well, Tavamil, yes, indeed. Janala, yes. So anyway, as it goes, no, we don't know him, and we're just playing a bit of hide and seek. I did want to say, it's quite early for a game of hide and seek, isn't it?
Oh, I always wake up this early. It's not really early for me.
Yes, you know, you've got to get out early for the best hide and seek before it gets too hard. You know, if there's no one around, then it narrows things down a bit, as it were. They're kind of like looking at each other.
Is it all right if we go?
They're like, well, actually, we're looking for one more person as well.
You're looking for another person?
We are.
Are you also playing hide and seek?
Yes, we are.
Well, isn't it cheating to ask people where other people are and hide and seek?
Well, you see, the thing about it, what was your name again?
Janala.
Right. The thing about it is that they're in danger.
In danger?
Yes, they're in quite a bit of danger. Fingers and the other one, what was his name? And they like pulls out a piece of paper. Ethiod. Have you heard of that name before?
I've heard that name before. What's your name?
They're like, when you say that, go ahead, roll insight as Tavamil.
19.
You can tell that they seem pretty happy that you've told them that you've heard that name before. And when you say that, Thalen was kind of like doing like, whatever. And when you say that, he like grabs your hand and he squeezes it really hard. We've got to be going now. So.
What's your name? She like says that to the thief.
He is going to, Thalen's kind of like starting to pull you away. Are you like coming with him at all?
I guess so, yeah.
So as you kind of go off in that direction, he's going to grab Tavamil's sleeve.
The thief?
Yeah, the thief. It's quite a specific name, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. I think that every name is specific. What's your name?
He's going to like roll his eyes, and they're all kind of like looking at each other, and the girl is gonna like stand in front of the guy, and she's gonna be like, I told you they were at the orphanage. There's no way that we're going to be able to get to them in there. And they're having like a little like side conversation, and Fingers is like looking at Tavamil and looking, all around, like Yezi, you can see this. He's looking at Tavamil. Roll an insight check.
14.
He looks irritated at that exchange. And he's gonna like turn, he's gonna kind of like lean his head back like he's gonna talk to Yezi.
I think that she like puts her hand over his mouth And then Signs and Thief Can't saying, like, do this, you know.
And he's gonna like do whatever, and he's gonna say, "We gotta knock these guys out."
I think that Yezi, like, stares at him wide-eyed and, like, cocks her head, like, why?
Because they know Ithiod's at the orphanage.
I think that Yezi looks down and can Tavamil... I want Tavamil to roll insight to see if she can put together, like, oh, maybe I should...
Refrain.
Yeah, or, yeah, like, have her be like, oh, now they're gonna go there.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Yeah, you roll insight.
Okay. 17, so...
Yeah, so the moment that you hear them say that, you realize that they're kind of putting two and two together. You came out of the orphanage. They saw you come out of the orphanage. Okay, maybe you're playing hide and seek, but you know of an Ethiod. It's an extremely specific name because he's a tiefling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wouldn't be a name that would be heard by anyone under any other circumstances, really. And Fingers, knowing Fingers is not super surprising if you're an orphan in the orphanage, you know what I mean? But you're kind of like putting two and two together, and you see that maybe that was a mistake.
Ethiod's also playing hide and seek. He's not at the orphanage.
Good roll deception. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty good lie. I'll let you roll it with advantage.
Okay. 22.
Dang, girl. What the heck is that? What is your plus two? What did you roll?
18 plus freaking 4. She has a high deception.
Dang,
I feel
bro.
like she has a high deception because she's so innocent that it's like she seems so simple. It's like, why?
Oh yeah, so like, why would she freaking lie? Cool. And you fully like cool. So you say that to them, and you see Yezi. You can see Fingers is like, you can see probably one of the only times you've ever seen like steam rise from his ears, levels of like frustration. Like he's like, you may have seen it a little bit earlier once before, an amount of anger that was very unbridled, and this seems like the very fringes of that. You know what I mean? You can see him like losing control of himself a little bit.
I think that Yezi's grip tightens for a different reason now.
Yeah. And the moment she's like, oh, he's playing hide and seek too, Fingers like, it's like cold water poured on his head. Like he's like, snaps kind of out of it a little bit. And the rogues that were kind of like, okay, we're done with her.
Yeah.
Now we know what's up. Are looking at each other, and they stop and they turn and look back at you. What do you mean he's playing hide and seek?
Well, he said that he wanted to. He said that that he's really good at it.
Yes. He we're all playing, and we used this potion just to make it a bit more interesting, just to see how it would go. And so if you're looking for him, you're going to have to find him as well. And they're like looking at Thalen, and they look over kind of his head to you, and they say, do you know about where he might be?
No. He said that I wanted to team up with him because he said that he's really good at it. But he said that wasn't a good idea.
So you have no idea where he might be?
No.
Janala, don't give them an idea of where he might be. Thalen elbows you a little bit in the ribs. Don't give them an idea of where he might be.
I'm not.
You want to roll an insight check on Thalen's intentions?
Yeah. 14.
You can tell that Thalen is trying to get you to give them an idea of where he might be.
Well, I don't know.
Yes, we're not going to tell you. Because we don't know why you're looking for him, so why would we tell you?
You said that he's in danger. Why is he in danger?
And they're gonna kind of like sidle up to Tavamil. Some quite nasty people are looking for him.
We're not nasty.
Not you.
Oh.
Some other folk.
Who's looking for him?
He's gonna like look at Thalen and kind of like put a hand up in between you and Thalen, and go, those pointy-eared bastards.
Oh, you don't like high elves.
He's gonna wink at Thalen, and Thalen is gonna like look back at him, and give him like a, like look.
Well,
We just wanted to warn him, try and keep him safe, but if you're not,
No, I want to keep him safe.
well then you should at least give us an idea of where he might be hiding.
Well,
Tavamil, we don't know these people. We shouldn't tip them off in any particular... They might be lying. Elbow, elbow.
well, but, maybe he is in danger. And maybe we should tell them. I mean, you don't know where he would be because you're looking for us. And if you knew, then you'd be cheating. But, he said that. How far away is the density phonium's pretty far from here, right? Because she's trying to think of the
like
places
the
that she
farthest
knows.
place?
The places that she knows around the town, because she doesn't know very much. She knows that there's a mayor's house. She knows of Thalen's liquor store, Lady Gwynth's house, the density phonium, and the orphanage. There's not really other places that she knows of.
Are you looking for like the farthest place, or?
No, I think that she's just looking of somewhere that she's like, I could say the name of, and then maybe they'd go there instead of the orphanage.
Any place? Just a different place, or like I'll let you roll to see if you can find out like the strategically significant, like a good place.
Yeah.
Because right, you would ideally want it to be far from the orphanage, right?
So is this what, insight, investigation?
We'll do I don't know, investigation.
Okay. 7.
You know that you don't have like a really good lay of the land, but a very basic rule that you have established is that the Wefthway people live in the fancy part of town and the orphanage is in the slums.
Okay. He said that he really likes going to the fancy part of town because he says that there's and she's like thinking, she's like, he is a thief. There's a lot of things to steal there.
Tavamil, no, don't give them that.
Well, but I'm sorry.
It's all right, I suppose. Well, I guess you know that now, so... He's, like, looking up at them, like, looking at you.
Why are the high elves looking for him?
We're not sure, but we're sure that they want to do something quite nasty, you know.
What does he do?
He's going to, like, look at you.
Mm-hmm.
And the girl kind of starts. She goes, he's a tiefling, right?
I guess so.
Well, he's got his horns cut off, doesn't he?
Mm.
Well, you see, that only happens to the worst of tiefling criminals.
Really?
Yes. It's sort of a punishment before they're banished. It's as though to say that they're removed from the society. So I can only imagine it's quite a bounty they're offering for his head.
What's a bounty?
it's a sort of money that the girl is like looking around her. She like as though to be like, how does she not know this? This girl looks about my age. She's going to say, it's a sum of money you are paid for completing a certain task, and in this case it would be retrieving him.
Are you going to give him to the High Elves?
Well, no, he's part of the Thieves Guild. We want to keep him safe. When they start, good, roll a perception check as Yezi.
Okay. 14.
And go ahead, roll one as Tavmil, too.
4.
Tavmil is focused a lot on her conversation. Yezi hears Fingers kind of start breathing a little bit hard when they start talking about the crimes you have to commit in order to get your horns cut off.
I think that she still is like holding on to his collar. I think with her other hand she like holds his hand, like slips her fingers into his. And
the girl is gonna like lean kind of forward towards Tavmil and say, I mean, what did he tell you that he did? Anything at all?
No. I didn't ask.
She's going to say, well, I wouldn't trust him.
All right. It's really nice meeting you. Can we go now?
Thalen's going to kind of like cock his head back a little bit and say, so what is it? You want to keep him safe, but also he's a horrible criminal and he shouldn't be trusted? He's part of the Thieves Guild. We look after our own.
Well, aren't you guys criminals?
And they're going to look at each other and say, no, we're licensed thieves.
I don't know how it works.
I suppose you don't. The girl's going to kind of grab the guy and say, come on, we're wasting time here. They're going to kind of like make like they're detaching kind of from the situation, like they're going to walk away.
I feel like Tavamil will just say, well, have a good day. It was really nice talking to you.
And they're going to kind of like nod their head. Like the moment that it seems like you don't have any more relevant information, they're going to kind of like nod their head and just kind of like fully like detach from the situation. Just like step back and walk away.
I feel like Tavamil turns to Thalen. She's like, well, and she like reaches out to hold his hand because she's like, now I gotta hold somebody's hand to leave. Let's go.
Yes, let's go. Find the others. And he's gonna kind of grab your hand and squeeze it. And when he squeezes it, you can feel that it's like shaking a little bit. And Fingers is gonna like grab Yezi's hand, and he's like, he's gonna kind of like pull her forward using it. Where is Iffy in this equation?
I think Iffy was standing back watching this whole thing, being like, are you absolutely kidding me? Like, dumbfounded by how much Tavamil cannot keep her mouth shut, even though she said she would. And she was like standing, I think, like behind Fingers and Yezi. And so it's like Thalen and Tavamil, and then Fingers and Yezi, and then Iffy behind them.
And when you can feel Fingers like his hand is also shaking, and you can roll an insight check as to why as Yezi.
Sure. 8.
A lot of emotions have rushed through both you and him, so it could just be the overwhelmedness of them all.
I feel like Tavamil turns to Thalen and is just like, are you cold?
Thalen is going to kind of like squint his eyes and then kind of realize what you're talking about, and he's going to say, a bit, I suppose, let's go.
All right.
And he's going to like duck, like start like walking around the corner, and he's going to be like, I have to walk at a metered pace, you know, like I have to like think about it.
Yeah.
And as you go around the corner, the party's going to kind of like break into a line again, like right behind Thalen. Fingers is going to kind of overtake him and go back into his position, so he lets go of Yezi's hand. And go ahead and roll a perception check as Yezi and Iffy.
Okay. Yezi gets a 9. And with Iffy's disadvantage, she gets a 24.
Wow. Her disadvantage roll?
She got a nat 20 and a 19.
Dang. Yeah. Holy crap. I'm going to like fold that in together. This is Iffy's second crazy perceptive moment. So Iffy's now.
She's like sleeper agent, like war girl.
She hackles up. She's at the back of the kind of like column that you guys are in right now. So you're watching your 6, if you will. And as you turn, you kind of like you turn to like look behind you. Your eyes perfectly catch the silhouette of a thief as he ducks behind the corner of a building at the last second.
Okay.
And as you kind of like move yourself away, like you kind of turn back around and keep walking in the direction, and if you look again, because he doesn't, to your knowledge, he doesn't see you.
Yeah.
So either you could just stand there and watch, or if he does see you, then he'll see you watching him, but that's it. Are you just gonna watch what he does?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you stay like staring at him like that, you see that he kind of ducks around the corner, takes a peek in your direction, and then reaches another point of cover and hides.
Okay, and he's like coming towards us.
Yeah, but he is like 100 yards away. Like he's not. He's like 100 feet away, but he's behind things and stuff.
And is he different? He's a different thief than the 3 that just left.
I'll say because both of those rolls were stanky.
Yeah.
He looks. You are putting together that there's a good chance that he's one of the 3.
Okay.
You only see the one, though. You are fairly certain that it is only one.
Okay. I think that Iffy picks up the pace a little bit, and she gets close enough to where people can hear her without her having to pick up her voice. And she just goes, "One of them's still following us."
Who are you trying to pass that information to? Just to Yezi, or?
I think to
or like if you pass it to her, she'll pass it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that.
Okay.
I think that she says that to Yezi. Yezi kind of nods her head, and she like catches up a little bit with Fingers, and Thieves cants that to him.
Fingers is gonna kind of like he turns his head to look at you, and you can see that something looks wrong. Like he was not looking okay from the get-go, and he is looking much more not okay after that conversation. And so he kind of like shakes his head and like looks at you and sees that, and you see like in his brain, it's like he had reached a low point that he thought was the lowest point, and it has like shunted down like a few inches.
I think that Yezi is gonna sign, "Do you want me to take care of it?"
When you say that, Fingers had just kind of like passed his eyes across you so that he could see what you're doing in Thieves' Cant, and looked back forward. And then it was like he went to turn his head back and then caught you saying that. And so by the time his face reaches forward again, he keeps looking where he's going, that piece of information makes contact with his brain, and he's just gonna like reach out for you and grab whatever and just like pull you along with him.
Okay.
That's gonna be his answer to your question.
And she just follows.
Cool. So you are bobbing and weaving, not being stealthy anymore. To Tavmil's knowledge, the only ones who see her besides the crew are these thieves. So you can be stealthy or not really at this point, but everybody else is stealth.
Yeah, I feel like she's just still holding on to Thalen's hand, but she's not saying anything.
So you're walking, you've just kind of exited the slums, that kind of general area, And go ahead and roll an advantage perception check, and we'll just roll that for the whole party, and we'll roll it flat.
Okay. 11.
You will say it's, does that really make sense? It will say it's, Thalen is looking around. You see him just, he's looking around generally, and then all of a sudden, he kind of turns to Tavmil, and like, he's holding your hand, he kind of like pulls you up towards him. And then he's gonna like get close and he's gonna say, "Have you seen any posters with your face on them?"
No.
It's just Lucian.
When I came into town, nobody knew who I was. I said my name to a lot of people, and they didn't seem to care.
Will you guys shut up?
Sorry.
Thalen's gonna like kind of like separate from you and just keep like walking in the direction. And you are walking, you're kind of like just outside of the slums. And you're gonna go in the direction, the slow and safe way.
Yes.
Was that the thing? Okay, cool. So you are going to move in the direction of the Talenti border, which means you were gonna go past the trading post. So that's kind of in the direction that you're moving right now.
Okay.
I'm just gonna roll a little something real quick. Cool. So as you're moving.
Many little rolls.
Many little rolls. As you're moving in that direction, you see it's the slums kind of like break apart and they give way to sort of like a general industrial vibe as opposed to like run down residential. A few like, like clotheslines and all that business. A few scattered like corner store type businesses to just businesses like pure industry. You walk kind of into that, and you're rounding the bend, and that's kind of it. The slums are kind of breaking apart and giving way to that. You notice that you are. We'll roll a. As you're walking through that, go ahead. Who would clock this? I feel like the general perception check doesn't. Maybe maybe I should have everybody roll individually. Maybe let's do that, even though it takes time. We'll do that instead.
Yes, you got a nat 20.
Wow.
Davamil got a 6. Everson got a 7.
Yezi, it becomes extremely clear to you, and this is something that I think would be in your nature to be picking up, just general personnel. It is really early in the morning. I mean, every once in a while you'll see like a copper or a, watchman who gives you kind of like pays you no mind because he's drunk. Like that's, you know that because you know who you are. And you see that is a thing, but something that you specifically notice is that you don't see really any Weftway soldiers.
Okay.
They're because before they were like lining the universe.
Yeah, so maybe like they've cleared out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean it would make sense that that's what happened because the ball is over, and presumably either the king, you do not know what his plans were, if he was going to stay in the city, if he was going to leave that night or something like that. You were not made privy to that information, but certainly they are all gone.
Okay.
So that could be the logical explanation for that.
Okay. I think that she just kind of keeps that in the back of her mind. I think she's also thinking about Thalen saying, like, you didn't see any posters with your face on it. And kind of like rolling that around the back of her head because she's like, well, I think that she's thinking about how it would make sense that wouldn't be the case. Because they didn't detain her as a criminal, at least that's how it seemed. Because the way that Tavmil described it, they were not, like, they told her that Lucian burned the farm down and then killed her mom with that. And I think that she's kind of thinking in her head, maybe they want people to think that she's also dead. Like, that's why they're not looking for her. Mm-hmm. Perhaps, like, she's kind of coming up with theories for that.
Yeah.
Can Ifferson make another perception check to see if she can clock whether or not that person's still following them?
Yeah.
Okay. 9.
So you turn around, just to, to get a little lay of the land. You'd seen a little black hood pop up a couple other places. Just your head down, walking in the direction we're all, hastening off, and you're kind of watching everybody's back when you can. With your one eye, you got to keep doing one of these. And all of a sudden you hear the sound of a trash can exploding on the ground and just like cats like scattering.
Yeah.
And someone go, "Oh, bullocks."
I think, does everyone hear that?
Yes, everyone hears that. And probably, I would imagine, turn around.
Yeah, I think, for sure Tavamil turns around. I mean, Yezi would too, but...
Yeah, I think everybody would turn around to that. And if you're, like, looking that direction, looking to see, the guy is about, like, 30 feet away. He had been not, like, necessarily gaining on you, but he had been, like, maintaining a between... like 100 feet and like 40 feet kind of like berth from you, so that he, is tailing you. Clearly he doesn't want to get too close, but doesn't want to be too far.
Yeah.
He'd been doing that like since you left the slums and you're in this more industrial part of town. And when you go to clock him and he, trips up, you can imagine maybe he was getting a little bit too big for his britches and got worried that he was going to get seen and, like, tripped, fell off the roof into the trash can, something like that. He's looking too close, not looking where he's going type thing.
Okay. I think that I want to make Yezi make a perception check to see if there are any other thieves around, or, like, kind of any other watch people, like, hiding in the shadows and stuff. Mm-hmm. Freaking unnatural one.
Yezi goes to do that. She has every intention of doing that, and is like makes for that, and then she hears fingers make the sounds of fear, like shock. Like when that happens, he turns and he's mm-hmm. like super on edge, and kind of like pulls her attention away from that.
Okay, she like puts her hand on his shoulder. I think that she starts walking forward. Mm-hmm. I mean, fingers can roll insight, I think, to see what her like plan is, but I think her plan is, I'm gonna knock this guy out. He's following us, and if we don't stay in town, the story of hide and seek is gonna friggin' fall apart.
Right.
And as she does that, I think that Tavamil speaks up and she says, "What are you doing?"
Tavamil.
Not to Yezi though. She's saying it
to the guy, right? Yeah. Thalen's gonna say Tavamil, and he's like yanking on your hand to like pull you off in the direction. Come on.
All right.
And he's like yanked you, pulling you off in that direction. What is it? You can feel Yezi behind you as you go off in that direction. Fingers is following you.
Okay.
What is Iffy doing? Is she gonna stay with the Thalen and Tavamil, or what?
I think that she's kind of split. Like she's, stuck in the middle, like being like, okay, we need to stay together. I don't know what's going on. So I think that Thalen's pulling Tavamil in a direction, and I think that if he grabs onto Tavamil's other hand to also stop Thalen, and I think that she kind of like pulls him off to the side because she's like, I don't know.
What are you doing? They'll join us later. What? Let's go.
Do you know where you're going?
Sort of. I mean, I knew, but shut up. He's like, he starts like he's gonna launch into a thing, and then like stamps his foot to make himself shut up. You know what I mean? And he's just kind of staring at Tavamil and staring at Iffy, and then he goes, my ankle, ouch, I twisted it. And he's gonna, like, go to the ground and, like, sit on the ground.
I feel like Tamil doesn't realize that that's a lie. And she's like, are you all right? And, like, kneels down.
I'm not sure. And he's, like, making a big, ouch, that smarts, like, sticking his foot out and stuff.
I didn't see you do anything.
Trick ankle, I suppose. Can we just wait here for 10 to 15 minutes, I suppose?
Sure. Is that how long it takes to heal?
I hopefully. And he's gonna, like...
I feel like he hears freaking Iverson be like, good lord.
He's gonna, like, look up apologetically in that direction and be like, what do I supposed to do, Iverson? Yeah. Help me. And he's, like, sitting down, and you hear the sound of the thief trying to, because all he sees is Thalen and Tamil.
Yeah.
And so he's, like, in an alleyway in a corner, and he happened to, like, slip off the roof and fall into some trash cans.
Yeah.
What is Yezi's... Right now he's, like, in the alleyway, kind of in... He, like, fell down and in and behind these, like, trash cans. And he's kind of around the corner being like, I gotta play this off.
Yeah. I think her plan is fully just to knock him out, like, choke him out.
Yeah, like, what's her approach? Is she gonna just walk directly into the gap and scare him, or is she gonna, like, try and, like, climb up and go around? Or...
I think because he doesn't see them.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, she totally could.
Yeah, I think that she's, like full confidence, being like, he hasn't clocked me yet, walking towards him and, like, going to go behind him so that she can grab him from behind and do, like, a rear naked choke.
So there's two... It's a relatively small... You would have... I'll make you roll acrobatics to get behind him, because it's a small alleyway. Like, it's, like, you and Fingers... like, and one other person, like, 3 people shoulder to shoulder in the alleyway. So you'd have to, like, get past him, and then also he's gonna roll perception the moment you go into his eye line to see if he can see you.
Okay. I mean, she can choke him from the front, yeah? Is that possible?
Yeah, I mean, you can, yeah. Just
okay.
Reach.
I think, I think that she's not even gonna waste time doing that. I think that she's just gonna fully choke him from the front.
Okay, so he is sitting on the ground behind the fallen trash can. Well, actually, no, at that point, I think he would have picked himself up. So he's behind the fallen trash cans, kind of doing the, like, cronk on the wall, and just, like, kind of just starting to peek around the corner to see where his target might be. So what is Yezi gonna do specifically?
I think that he, like, starts to peek his head around the corner, and she has a hand come out and, like, push him back around the corner and up against the wall.
Okay, cool. Does Pass Without a Trace work that if they touch you, you can see them? Because I think we should probably rule that and make that be true.
Oh, probably.
He's like,
I mean,
a specter.
A specter. Let me...
An expectorant.
I mean, it doesn't say, so probably.
Okay, cool, yeah. So the moment we'll say... So, you see him peeking around the corner, and all of a sudden, he has your stone fingers clamped around his throat. Are you pulling him kind of back into the alley a little bit? Yeah, so your fingertips drag across the brick as you kind of slide his neck in against the wall. And the moment he feels that, one hand snaps, a gloved hand snaps to your wrist, and his eyes snap to meet yours. And he blinks a little bit you into existence. You are kind of shimmery and, like, fading in and out, like the light hitting you and obscured. And then all of a sudden you appear before him. You're in disguise. So you're sort of horribly marred, and you look kind of like a doll.
Yeah.
Because you are a painted rock, and so he's got that kind of in front of him as the fingers.
How horrifying.
Yeah, I know, like, clasp around his throat. And Yezi, you can hear behind you, Fingers is also slinks into the alleyway. And passes line of sight. But This guy's rolling disadvantaged perception and sees nothing at all. Goodness gracious. And he's just as you have him pinned to the wall.
Yeah, I think that she's fully just gonna do that until he passes out.
Okay. So you're gonna... It's a grapple check?
Yeah, I think
Cool.
so. Can Yezi get advantage because she took him by surprise?
Yeah. I'll give you advantage on the grapple check, and the other thing that we're gonna do is roll initiative.
Okay.
It's technically combat.
Her initiative was 8. And it's just contested athletics, right?
That's what we're gonna do, no matter what it is. Yeah, so you'll go first regardless because you did go first.
Okay.
I'm happy with that. And yeah, it'll be contested athletics, and it's not his turn, but it will be.
Yeah.
Just because this is you get a free round of combat. I'm really cooling that. Finger's gonna give you the help action by. I will give you the opportunity to communicate to him not to do this. But he is going to bury his shoulder in this guy's like midsection to keep him pinned against the wall. Do you see him making a motion to do that? That will reveal him to the world.
Yeah, I think that Yezi like sticks a hand out behind her to tell like a hand that kind of signals for him to stop.
He's gonna like look up at you, and he's kind of like crouched. He is significantly taller than you, as we've discussed, but he is crouched such that he is about your height. And he's kind of looking up at you from his like underneath his eyelashes. And when you do that, he like looks down and kind of backs off and gets even more small. Yeah. But he's like, you can see that he's like
prepared,
fully every fiber of his being is. He's like vibrating with adrenaline.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Roll your athletics.
I did. I got a 13.
Okay.
What'd that guy get?
So you slam your arm into his throat and you bury your fingertips in this brick. You can feel your fingers scraping, like you're trying to take a handful out of the brick.
Yeah.
And as you do that, he cannot make a sound, because his trachea is being slammed against his freaking brainstem. And so you just hear him go, and as you hold this check, and he is going to take his hand and wrap it around your fingers.
Yeah.
And just with pure fight or flight instinct, like in his mind, he's gonna take his fingers and shove them in your eyes.
Okay.
So he got a 16.
Okay.
And he's gonna take his fingers and just like put a hand in your open eyes, and you're recoiling when he does that. He yanks your arm off of his throat. And he puts one hand to his chest and he's just like sputtering on the ground. Do you do anything else?
Yeah,
I'll say that. Yeah.
So it's my turn now?
Well, I guess actually technically no, because that was what you did. It's still his turn. So he sticks his fingers in your friggin' eyeballs. He's like just coughing. He's got one hand on the wall, one hand on his chest, and he's just like kind of holding himself up, like massaging, trying to get the blood back in his brain. And he's just looking at you with a look of pure confusion. I'm gonna actually have him roll an insight check. He's gonna look up at you and say, "Who are you?" And unfortunately, you're not gonna answer because it's Finger's turn.
What? No, Fingers, please.
So from Finger's vantage point, he really did his job. He really, really did his job. The job where he is supposed to let you handle things and he's supposed to not help. He definitely did do that. And he watches himself do that. And then he watches this guy stick his fingers in your eyes. What was your reaction to that? Like, how did you physically react to it? What did he see?
I think that, like, pure emotionless face, like, he does that, and she just like blinks her eyes a couple times to like bats away his hand, but like she has no emotion on her face.
Fingers has to move past you in order to get to the guy. You could opportunity attack him if you wanted to. I'm just gonna give you that as an option.
If she does that, it's gonna reveal him anyways.
Also, you just. Am I gonna count this as an attack? Because you have the passive that trace, as we established, is a concentration.
A grapple isn't an attack.
That's right. You have to take damage. Okay, so you're still good.
Yeah.
Good. Happy to hear it. Cool. So, when he says, "Who are you?" Fingers, you can't see Fingers. And he's behind you. You don't hear him make a sound or make a single motion. He's gonna end his turn.
Okay.
Now it's your turn.
All right. Yezi isn't gonna answer. She's just gonna stay silent. So, in order to knock this guy out, are you going to have me decrease his hit point maximum, or like get rid of his hit points through non-lethal force, or is it gonna be grapple checks and her succeeding on grapple checks?
I'll let you do it either way.
Okay. I want to be grapple checks. I think.
Then we'll do it this way. You have to succeed on 2 consecutive ones.
Okay.
And the first one would be the grapple, and then the second one would be the submission.
Okay. Cool.
And then, or you can bring down his hit point total with non-lethal means. So like fisticuffs.
Yeah.
Basically.
I think I'm gonna do the grapple check because I think that I have a higher chance of that.
Yeah. Cool.
I say that and then roll a nat 1 or something. 19.
So how are you grappling? How are you attempting to grapple him again?
He says that, and he's like kind of hunched over a little bit from, breathing, holding onto his throat. And I think that she doesn't respond at all, and she like goes for him and like kind of basically just sweeps his legs out from him and like is on top, like gets him on the ground.
Oh, so you're trying to knock him prone too?
I've thought with grappling that was...
Are they proned? I think they're 2 separate things.
Are
like
they?
Grappled and prone.
Okay.
I'll let you, since your roll was so high, I'll let you roll again to see if he's also prone. And I'll make the DC be 10.
Okay. Nat 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so I think that she tries to knock him over, and when she can't, she kind of like swings around and gets on his back, like her arm is like around his neck, and she's just like trying to hold on to him that way.
So you're on his back is what you're saying? Okay, cool. So he is a little bit taller than you, so you're going to kind of like crank him backwards because there's no way he can hold you up.
Yeah. 330 pounds.
And so you get him, you like jump up and just wrench him backwards, and you have your arm around his neck. And so he's like kind of like backing, he looked like he was kind of getting his wits about him, like squaring up with you. And you jump on his back, and he, as you wrench him backwards, he's again just like like fully rendered. Keep those coughs in. Those are the good coughs. And you're kind of just like wrenching his neck backward.
Yeah.
Do you want to do anything else while you're here?
No.
Okay, so you got your first successful grapple check.
Cool.
It is going to be the rogue's turn. He's going to attempt to break out. Okay. Well, I guess he would break out. Yeah, okay. Okay.
So contested again? 19 again.
Really? You got a 17. Wait. Okay. Yep, no, he got a 17. So he is really gonna like he's gonna do some like thief jujitsu and like try and do some like cool freaking like leverage, whatever, get himself out. And you're just so freaking strong and like your body is so unyielding to anything.
I feel like he's also scraping against stone.
Yeah, like you can hear him like as his face scrapes across your freaking stone body. He is like writhing kind of in your grip. And he is rooted in position, just like struggling against your grip. And it is Finger's turn. And do you want to try and see what he's doing?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll perception.
Okay. 14.
You can see him. He's kind of like crouched against the wall, like has one hand like behind it, and then he's got one hand like the thinker style, like in front of his face, like just probably absent-mindedly there, and he's just like looking up and he's staring directly into your eyes, just like deep, and you can see that he is like getting control of something deep within him, but it seems to you like it has become slightly easier now that this is going well.
Okay.
And that is where you're at right now.
Okay.
Cool. All right. And he is going to look at you, and he gives you like a nod of whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like Yezi kind of gives him a nod back.
And he's just gonna stay. It's not that he's not moving; it's that he's frozen. It's like a picture of him, and his nod is so jarring because the rest of him is so still. Cool. All right, it is your turn again.
All right, doing another check. What'd you get?
What did you get?
What'd you get?
No.
22.
Got a 19. This guy was fully gonna get out. I was like, dude, he rolled a 17. Okay, no.
I rolled a 17 too. I get a +5 to athletics.
Dang. Oh, okay. Well, that's... Yeah, I can see why. You're like, I think that I'll use the grapple check one. I guess that would be better. Not telling me you have a +5 plus friggin' 0 squishy rogue.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was like, usually rogues are pretty not bad. I dumped a lot of stats into athletics for no reason.
Because all your other stats blow. Yeah. They suck so hard. Finally, Yezi
showing Fingers what she's made out of, and maybe he doesn't like it.
I think he's coming to terms with it as we speak. Cool. So, he, like, really gets his frickin' fingers, like, underneath at this point, like, you're cutting off his air.
Yeah.
And he had a pretty, like, solid go of it, last time. And, he can feel from your body that you're made of stone. Like, he can feel that from your arms that you're made of stone. And he's thinking to himself, vital points, whatever. So the first thing that worked was getting his fingers in your eyes. And so it's like he's reaching up to go back there as you can feel the lights are like kind of shutting off. And as you kind of like, you feel this like last ditch effort, you feel fingers like going back in your direction. You feel kind of his hand is just like floating in front of your face suddenly, and then it's kind of just like grasping at your arm around his throat. What's funny? And then kind of just like dragging against your arm, and then you can feel his body, like his knees buckle, and he just like fully goes slack against you.
I think that she holds it for like a couple seconds longer, and then relaxes her own self, because she's like, if I keep doing this, then there'll be a different problem.
Yeah, Fingers, when you like hold on for longer after he starts to like, fall like out of your arms, Fingers stands up and kind of like puts an arm out.
And when Yezi like relaxes, she doesn't drop him. She like tries to set him up against the wall, so that he's like sitting up but like slumped against the wall.
And as you do that, Fingers is gonna He's standing up behind you. You kind of set the guy against the wall. Are you like looking at him? Do you turn around or anything like that?
I think that Yezi makes sure that the guy isn't dead. Like, I think that she's like, I'm pretty sure he isn't, but she like feels for a pulse to just like double check with herself.
You feel Fingers' hand on your shoulder.
She's gonna look up at him.
And are you still kind of like leaning down, checking his pulse? He's gonna look at the guy, kind of with you while you check. And he's just gonna wait for you to like confirm whatever it is you're confirming.
I think that when she realizes that he isn't dead, she like kind of does like a small tiny nod and then stands up.
Fingers is gonna like take a step back so that you can like stand up fully, and he's gonna kind of like look at you with his head like down a little bit, and he's gonna like take his hand and like kind of cup your chin and turn your head up to like look at him, and he starts looking at you in the eyes, like he's like checking something. You all right?
I'm fine.
Really? You all right? Really, you are?
Yes, I'm fine.
Okay.
Are you all right?
Oh, I'm great.
I feel like she's gonna reach up and like put a hand on his cheek, be like, let's go.
When you go to do that, he's gonna kind of close his hands around your hand. Like as you go to say let's go, he's gonna like hold on a little bit, and he's gonna like pull you back and say, I don't. It's gonna be okay.
Of course.
My mom and Thea.
They're going to be fine. I promise.
All right. And he's going to like duck his head kind of around the corner. And as you walk into the jarringly, in brightening sunlight, especially from this dark alley, did you want to like, Ollie is slumped against the wall? He's not like doing any weird crap?
Nah,
like you didn't hide his body or
No.
anything like that? You kind of like round the corner and you can see Iffy and Thalen and Tavil. And Thalen has his like foot out and he's like manipulating it around, and you're like, wonder what must they be doing, right now. And yes, you kind of like look behind you and you see that Fingers isn't behind you.
Okay, she's gonna go find him.
Yeah, I mean, you're like right at the mouth of the alley, and you kind of step out around the corner and you look, and you kind of like hear some rustling.
She's gonna go back.
Yeah, Fingers is like, sorry, I just wanted to see if he had anything on him.
Like what?
Like, I don't know, it's assignment orders, some kind of, just in case. Give us a little more insight into the situation. And Fingers is like hands like fumbling around this like body. You can see that he's kind of having a weird time with the fact that this guy is so like limp and not
I think
responsive.
that Yezi's gonna tell Fingers, people don't stay unconscious for very long.
You're right. Okay, let's go. I didn't find anything anyway. And he's gonna like stand up and kind of like go around the corner with you.
I feel like Everson has been watching Thalen and like pinching the bridge of her nose, and then she like hears them coming. She's like, finally. I don't know how much more of this I can take.
Oh my! Well, I think it's better now.
Is it?
Yes, I think so.
That's good.
All right. I guess we'll keep going then.
Are you sure you're fine?
I'm sure. So I've miraculously recovered.
Well, that's really nice.
Indeed. And he's gonna like stand up completely, fine. And as Fingers and Yezi kind of rejoin the group, Fingers is gonna be like, we gotta go. Like, kind of like put his head down, pick up the pace. Like, his pace, as it would be interpreted by folks, is very, I am not so concerned about us being insanely suspicious. I am concerned about us getting the heck out of here.
Yeah.
Like, that is very much the vibe.
Yeah.
Is anyone going to object to that at all?
No, I don't think so.
Thalen is going to kind of realize that Fingers is going faster, like the world is going faster, and he's going to kind of grab your hand, Tavi, and say, well, we want to be home in time for supper, for breakfast, the morning meal.
I am a bit hungry.
All right, then let's pick up the pace, shall we?
All right.
And he is kind of like pulling you off in the direction of, through this section of town closer to the gate. Mm-hmm. And as you move off in that direction, you go past, buildings, past the trading post. You see a few other folks. I'm going to roll something real quick. You see an increasingly kind of large number, not like a large number, but definitely more than were sticking out last night, maybe just because there were so many high elf guards, of Talenti guards, which is, it's a town that is populated by the Horaviok, Talenti, and Wefley clans, so it wouldn't be out of place to see some around, but it is relatively early in the morning. You are also walking towards the Talenti border, so it's kind of like not super jarring that would be the case.
Okay. I think that Yezi takes Tavamil's hand and like says to Thalen, I've got it. The thief saw her, but these people might not.
He's going to friggin' roll to see if he understands what you're talking about. And he's going to turn and like feel you yank on her arm and say, what are you talking about?
The thief was able to see her. These soldiers might not. She's still under the effect.
Oh, yes, I forgot.
So let's go.
And you see you're very kind of, you're not that conspicuous anymore. It's been probably about a half hour since you left, which means you've got like 20-ish minutes more until you're past the gate.
Yeah.
So it's becoming, more and more people are like, setting up their shops and stuff like that, going outside, going to work, like service workers and stuff like that. And you see kind of more and more people out and about. But you are still, the purpose with which you are walking is sort of still noteworthy. So you see you're getting like a glance or two every once in a while. And you see one guard, go ahead and roll, who'd be... I'll have Yezi and Iffy roll perception. Okay. And Fingers will roll.
15 for Iffy. 4 for Yezi.
Iffy, you see one guard kind of doing like a weird lean back and forth, but you round a bend soon enough that you think maybe there's a chance that he saw Tavamil, but was sort of like, what is that? And then you rounded a corner, and you don't have necessarily an indication that he's going to investigate further. Like maybe he's just like, it's early, whatever. He was just doing kind of like a weird back and forth line.
Okay. I think that Iffy kind of says quietly, like, Tavamil, I don't know what you're doing, but you're doing something wrong. Try to be a bit more, I don't know, less conspicuous. What does conspicuous mean? Shh. Sorry.
And as you're walking in that direction, you get closer and closer to the gate. You kind of pass, like, this big, like, Shibuya crossing style street that you had been kind of caught up in before. And you walk to the trading post and go ahead and roll a advantage perception check as Tavamil.
Okay. 18.
You hear from where you are, it's a really big street that you're just kind of like moving around a building towards that direction. And the trading post is still relatively far off. And you can see there's a few, like, horses and carts, people going to collect whatever it is, at the beginning of the day, set up shop. making shipments to the stores nearby, things of that nature, you would imagine. Whatever it is you do at a trading post, some of that is being conducted, even though it's so early in the morning. So you see, some horses and people. It's not that many, but it's definitely the most populous area that you've encountered thus far. And you're just kind of putting that together as you come around, just like, maybe we should, maybe this might be good for us, it might be bad, I don't know. When you hear someone say from far off, but you pick it out of anywhere, I'm telling you he's innocent. He loves that girl more than anything in the world. It's a conspiracy, I tell you.
I think that friggin' Tavamil, audibly just goes and stops walking and looks over.
And everyone stops and looks at you.
I think that I could get us a carriage.
And that's where we're gonna end this episode.
Dude!
No, stop! Are we getting a carriage or what?
Getting a carriage? I hope so. Oh, I sent it.
There he is. So much Irish in this episode.
So much Irish.
That was not my intention, even though I write the bloody podcast.
I cannot do an Irish accent, so I cannot do a Summer Eldrin.
Well, I can barely do one.
It's a bit hard.
What's really hard is doing variations.
Of an accent that's already hard.
Listen, I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best, all right?
I think
this one's a bit higher and this one's a bit lower. I'm like a halfway into Lucian and halfway into Thalen with each one. One day they'll all be. This is a journey, and
it is a journey.
It's not the destination. The destination is somewhere I don't know.
Somewhere I don't know.
Suddenly I'm Thalen. Matthew Mercer. That's what I'm aiming for.
Matthew Mercer.
Anyway, we're gonna go eat some peppers and brie cheese.
Bye.
Bye.